You're watching the Action Sports Jax 24/7 network. Now it's time for the Brent Austen Show.
Oh, there's a look at Cabot Citrus Farms, just a beautiful layout and landscape. I was just talking to the folks here that have helped really start this 18 months ago or so. It's been a long time coming for the last few years, but man, have they done a heck of a job. A lot of use of the natural landscape of this part of the state of Florida, just north of Tampa in Brooksville. And we'll talk to the director of agronomy today, kind of get into the weeds, if you will. Not a lot of weeds out here. Some nice wildflowers on this beautiful property and a place that you could come and visit, Cabot Citrus Farms here in Brooksville, Florida. But we're also talking a lot of football. We'll hear from Tom Coughlin, Bill O'Brien, Austin Lane, John Shipley, Alivia Tassely, Dyami Brown, Trevor Lawrence, Liam Coen, Grant Udinski perhaps as well. Wow, we got a lot of it lined up here on the show. Brent Martineau here on the road once again. Action Sports Jax 24/7 network. Brent Austen Show on the road. We like to take it there. And Kim's Corner back in the booth today as we have a potpourri of people helping out this week with Jason Hamby on his honeymoon after getting married on Friday. Good morning to the chat already. And good to have you along, and love to get some of the thoughts of the folks that saw or at least took a look at some of the things coming out of Jags OTAs, and we're going to dive into that in just a couple of moments on the show. We're going to hear from Trevor and Liam Coen because I think that's really the most interesting part of what we have going on yesterday, or at least in this OTA session. You know, people get carried away with the highlights coming out of there, whatever happens, but we're talking about practice, people. So we're not going to do that. We can do that a little bit more in camp where you start to build a bit more of a sample size and start to see who's doing what. And then we'll warn you even at that time that a lot of those things don't always translate over to the season. The season is a different animal in itself. So why get carried away with some of that? But it was good to see Trevor Lawrence out on the field and Travis Hunter out on the field along with Brian Thomas Jr. as well. A lot of talk about the energy of Travis Hunter and just the energy overall of the coaching staff and Liam Coen. I took that away from some of the reaction, too, with especially Grant Udinski. I mean, he seems to be coaching with a smile on his face right now, and I'm not sure how many smiles we've seen in the Jags building over the last 15-plus years, but specifically the last year and a half. It looked like a heck of a grind and almost a chore at times when we would see those guys. I got that from Grant Udinski, and I thought that was kind of cool. He's a fun listen, by the way, and I don't know how much he'll be like on the radar for everybody outside of the building, because really this is Liam Cohen's offense, right? It's Liam Coen, Trevor Lawrence, and how much Udinski's a part of it and building it, I'm sure is bigger, but I don't think he's going to get talked about in that way. So it was refreshing to hear him talk, and you can tell why he's has a bright future in the coaching ranks. And now as the offensive coordinator of the Jacksonville Jaguars. So let's do this and really just jump right into it. I want to get to Trevor because I want to see if anybody takes anything crazy away from what Trevor said. There were some things being mentioned after Trevor Lawrence talked to the media, like, oh, he's taking a shot at the old regime. So how do you interpret it? Is it a shot at the Doug Peterson and Press Taylor offense, how they did business, or is it just a reaction of trying to embrace and also be real about what's going on now? And we do this a long time and talk about when you juxtapose somebody getting fired or a regime getting fired and then you bring in the next crew, it sounds like everything you're saying in a positive way about the new regime is a negative reflection on the old regime. And I think there probably is some truth to that in there, just subtle shots, but I don't think there's any intention in that way. If you really go back to the end of the season, Trevor's now talked 3 times since the season ended, really since he got hurt against the Houston Texans and his season ended. Talked in January, he talked in April, and then he just talked again here in May for OTAs. And on both occasions, he mentioned, you know, they need more juice in the building. I think in the early, which is energy, right? Which means it was kind of stale. It was kind of just blah in there. And I think they did that with this new staff, younger people. They've done that with Travis Hunter, as we mentioned. Now can that elevate everybody else? Is a big curiosity in the building specifically with some of the free agents they got and some of the draft picks. But the other thing that Trevor Lawrence said, if you really go back to the January one, I remember him saying, hey, we want to be almost like pushed more, right? We got to get after this thing a little bit more. And I don't think it was a disciplinary type thing. It was more, are we squeezing every bit out of this team, this locker room? Is there strain and all that stuff that people talk about? So I think he has been dropping subtle hints of this didn't end well in the Doug Peterson era. And there's this, listen, we talk about it all the time. I don't know what went wrong with the Doug Peterson era. I don't think there's any one thing that happened other than potential complacency, not being able to push the right buttons and get out of it. I don't think Doug just got lucky to win a Super Bowl, and Doug just got lucky in the first year and a half when the Jags made the playoffs, won a playoff game, and also were 8-3 on a Monday Night Football game playing for a top seed. So I don't think there's just luck in that. But what happened since, and his inability as a staff and a head coach to push the right buttons and also dig themselves out of that 2023 season where they just had to win one game and really dig themselves out of last year where there's just no way that team should have won only 4 games when you line it up on paper. How much of that was Doug? How much of that was the culture of Trent Baalke, all this other stuff? But I think Trevor, the main point here is he's been dropping little things like his input. I think player input coming off that season, coming off the Doug Peterson era was, we need a little bit more around here. We almost need to be pushed harder. And we need to bring it more, too. We need to find the guys that are going to bring it more as well. So I think, do you get a little bit of this in yesterday's news conference with Trevor Lawrence? Again, he might talk at the end of minicamp coming up in the middle of June, or this could be it until we see him in late July at training camp. So you've got to take what Trevor says and kind of put it in a bottle for a little bit. Because that's what we got to hang on, a little bit of yesterday's conversation we had about Trevor Lawrence. So, Kim, if we could, let's play this and see what Trevor had to say. And we might pop in and out of this as well and just make a comment or two.
Feels good just to be, I guess we've been on the grass, but to compete a little bit. You know, last few weeks has been trying to get everything in, get the offense, get the defense in, working separate, and now get to compete a little bit. So that's what we all love to do. That's fun. You get the competitive, juices flowing, and to kind of see our offense come together, and then also see our defense, which we haven't gone against yet, is it's always good.
What are your early thoughts on Travis Hunter? I mean, I know you haven't seen a ton of him just yet.
Yeah, got a lot of juice. Like he can run all day, a lot of energy. I love it. Good energy. Always dapping guys up, just bringing juice every day. And like I said, high motor, can just go. It's like a kid, just runs around all day. He doesn't get tired, it seems like. So you can't have enough of that. And then as far as just talent, I mean, kind of speaks for itself. Ball skills, run after the catch. He's very explosive. Just didn't realize how explosive he was in and out of cuts. He's impressive to watch. And we've gotten to connect a couple times. It's only going to keep getting better and better. We've only worked together for a couple days now, so we got some time to really dial in on the details.
When it comes to building relationship with receivers, how difficult is that going to be with him splitting time, corner, wide receiver? Is that going to be a challenge?
Yeah, I mean, you work around all that. You get as many reps as you can. You talk as much as possible, not just out here, but yeah, out here after reps, after 7-on-7 team reps. If I see how he did something, I think he can do it a little different, or if he likes to do things a certain way, he can kind of voice that to me. Both of those things. And then in the building, in the meeting room, watching tape, installing, talking about kind of what I'm looking for, what coaches are looking for on certain concepts, just to get him up to speed, because obviously he's learning a new system and he's super talented, really smart, but it takes some time to learn the system. So we're trying to just get him up to speed, and so he can go and play fast and free and not have to think about it.
BT today versus BT a year ago today, how would you evaluate that?
Yeah, I think, obviously the talent's always been there, but the confidence, obviously off the year he had and what he's done. Now he has a full year under his belt where, he's one of the top receivers in the league. I think my confidence in him, seeing him do his thing for a year now, and just you get that one-on-one, you feel really confident about our guy. So just a lot of confidence in him. He's smart. He's picking up. It's another system he's learning. It's 2 years in, 2 systems, and just been impressed by how he carries himself. The work he puts in, you can tell he studies because he comes in here, he knows his stuff. It's not an easy system to learn, and he's done a really, really nice job.
Given that you missed the last 6 games, 7 games, whatever it was, the chemistry between you and BT, has it taken a second to kind of readjust to that chemistry?
Yeah, I think not a ton. Obviously, just getting back into throwing. I went for a solid 3.5+ months without throwing, just with the shoulder deal. And so starting to throw a little bit before OTAs and then working into it. I feel really good now. I feel like my arm's back in shape. I feel like I'm getting sharper and sharper every day. So I think it was more that than necessarily getting the chemistry back with BT. I felt like we were just starting to get that last season, and obviously went down and we weren't able to finish the year together. But just being able to watch him, even though I wasn't playing, being able to watch his one-on-one reps, the stuff we were doing with him last year and the situations he was put in and how he was able to adapt and play the slot and move outside and really take advantage of every matchup. I think that also gave me a ton of confidence in seeing like this is a guy where you can move him anywhere, you can do anything, and he's going to just find a way to get the ball because he's that good.
You mentioned the system.
I'm not the only one that's talked about that part.
I really like it. It has a lot of answers. It's great. I mean, it puts a lot on the players. You have to know your stuff, but it gives you all the answers. You don't feel like you're stuck in a play that's not set up for success. It gives us a lot of answers, and we change the presentation a lot, make a lot of things look the same. There's a whole lot of, without going into too much detail, there's a lot of things that I like about it, and it's definitely unlike any system that I've learned before. So it's been cool to learn and just pick the coach's brain and try to get it down as fast as possible.
Do you have it? Do you have to take a test to pass it?
Yeah, I mean we don't have everything in yet. We build up to that, but from what we have in so far, yeah, I would hope so. That's what I've been working to try to get it all down. I feel good about it. Just got to now take it from knowing it to second nature. To where you don't think about it. You hear the play call, you spit it out, you go play, and you play fast, and you're not thinking about it. That's always kind of the transition when you learn a system. You got to get it down to where you can just react.
Previously mentioned a few things that you knew you wanted to work on as far as your footwork and things of that nature earlier in the offseason. How are you feeling with that progress under Lee?
I feel really good. It was something I was able to work coming into OTAs is just on my own. When I first started throwing for a couple weeks before we started, I was able to work the footwork, and it was foreign to me a little bit then, but now it feels more comfortable. Then just having a ton of banked reps through all the weeks that we've done of OTA or phase 1, phase 2, and now into the OTA practices. So I'm feeling more and more comfortable. And yeah, I think it's really going to help me. I feel very confident in my feet aligned where I want to go, and progressions and tying my feet to my progressions and being balanced and being able to get across the field quickly. So I think it's been really good, and just got to keep working it. It doesn't come overnight. It doesn't come in 4 months either. It's going to take a while. So just keep working it this whole off season.
Couple of throws you wish you could have back out there today? I mean, what can you learn from, some passes like that this time of year?
Yeah, I really just sailed one to Travis over the middle. He did a nice job. We had a cross throw. I had him open and just sailed it a little bit. And Sav picked that one off. He was behind him. And then the other one, just me and Parker being on the same page at a curl route and trying to throw it away from the zone defender underneath. And we were just a little bit off on what each other was thinking. So that's the time of year where you work that stuff out. Obviously, you never want to have interceptions. You don't want to have balls on the ground. You want to be clean. But on the other hand, it's stuff you want to see the miscommunication or some of that, so you can fix it now and not carry that over, later on. So we'll fix that stuff and we'll get cleaned up.
We got time for 2 more.
Is the footwork stuff that you had not worked on before? Is it specific to what Liam wants to do offensively, or was it just fundamental stuff?
It's more of both. I'd say there's some fundamental stuff that I agree with that we've watched kind of throughout the offseason and said, hey, this is some stuff that I can work on to make me better, more accurate, a little bit more on time, and all this stuff, transfer my weight a little bit better. Then there's stuff that's just kind of system based, that's different, as far as the starting point of my stance, flipping that, which changes how you drop, so that was a big change, but that's more of the system and kind of what the system prefers. And I agree with a lot of that, or all that stuff, and I think it's helped me. But so it's a little bit of both, if that answers your question. And it's really specific as far as the concepts go with footwork and the details, and all that stuff is just kind of knowing and drilling my feet. So when I hear the call and I do it, I'm not thinking, all right, what's my drop? It's just you've done it so many times, you don't think about it.
Do you wish you had more consistency and continuity than you've had here in Jackson? I mean, you're working on your third center in 3 years, third offense, third OC, new receivers, new O-line.
I mean, it's the situation we're in. I really like the people we have here now. I love the system. I love the staff. The players that we brought in along with the guys that were already here. I feel very confident in where we're going and the trajectory we're heading. Can't change the past, Of course, I would love to have a little more success up until this point, to answer your question. Yeah, of course. But the reality is this is where we're at, and I love where we're at, and I got a lot of confidence in it, and we just got to keep putting the work in out here every day to prepare ourselves for the fall.
You said you needed juice here. You needed more juice here. Do you feel like you guys have it?
Definitely. There's an energy on the practice field. I think that starts with, obviously, Liam. He's a very energetic guy. He's passionate, loves football, loves to be out here. I think that's one thing I've noticed about him from the beginning is a lot of energy, and that trickles down through the staff, right? So, I mean, it's that, and then also the players that we have, a big variety of the guys that they brought in free agency. They all fit what we're trying to do, and the I guess the culture and the energy, and then even a guy like Travis bringing in who's just full of energy and positive and, you know, a playmaker, all those things. It's cool seeing it all come together, and it seems like everything's well thought out about the type of people that are here, not just the talent.
So that's pretty interesting stuff from Trevor, right? I was going to talk through some of it, but I thought he was doing a good enough job talking. And there's a bunch of takeaways. Let's just go from the back part of that, right? I mean, I thought it was interesting to hear him say there's a lot of intention about who is in the building right now and the pieces they have, and that just comes back to really what I've been stuck on a lot in this offseason, and I've never really talked about the Jaguars this way, and it's like a chessboard for them right now. And I don't know if I feel that way because that's the way Liam Coen operates. That's just the way the offense should be, would be, could be. That's the way the league operates anyway. I mean, Andy Reid does it, McVay does it, whoever does it. I mean, you line it up and you're trying to figure out, like, here's what's going to work the best. I mean, I think there's something to that anyway in sports, like how you're building a team and offense and attack of what you want to be schematically and everything else. But I think also the James Gladstone part of this adds to that a little bit more for me. There's some bright guys in that building, and so I think because of that, you're like, hey, they're thinking about it a little bit different. And so I think Trevor sees that too. I think he backed that up right there by saying, hey, we got specific people in certain places to do things. And one of those, you'll hear a conversation with Diami Brown a little bit later, and I think he is an intentional piece of the puzzle for Liam Coen in this offense and what they're trying to do. So I like what Trevor says there. I think the cautionary thing for me about what Trevor's saying is twofold. One, they're doing so much physically with him, I think. I don't think this is just a mentally, hey, let's get to the offense. I think there are physical things here with the footwork that he's talking about and what he said there. A lot of nuanced stuff that, quite frankly, I don't think we can all pretend to know. But you get the idea that it's going to take some time to get comfortable, like he said, when it's second nature. And that's natural for anybody. But that takes time. And that just doesn't happen at the start of the season. That just doesn't happen because August 9th rolls around or August 17th rolls around and you've got a preseason game. Like, that's not it. Like, he has to go to work on that stuff. He has to rep that stuff, and that will be a time thing where then when the bullets really start flying in a game, it feels different. It seems different. Everything's rushed a little bit more. Well, now you got to get used to that. So my point is, I've got a feel in this offense with the complexity of it to begin with. And that was another highlight I had of what Trevor says and even Liam Coen has talked about. But also the physical parts of this for Trevor, that footwork stuff that he's talking about, some of the fundamental things that he's already going to try to work on each and every year, that I just don't know if we should expect Trevor Lawrence and the Jacksonville Jaguars to come out of the gates humming on offense. Like, that's a little far-fetched to me to be able to do that. So maybe they do, and that would be great, and maybe things click. But I think the expectation has to be a little bit lower, that hopefully you get, I don't know what it is, a third of the way in, midway point of the season, and then you can really start to go. And we did see that in 2022 with the Jags, right? They got better as the season went along, and part of that was that new system. So I think some of this is just logic. Some of this is, hey, we might have to be a little bit more patient than we want to be in Jacksonville. And guess what? The schedule doesn't allow for you to be that patient in Jacksonville with, okay, Carolina out of the gates, which you can't go put up 15 points against Carolina, who had a pretty good defense last year, if I remember correctly. And then you've got to really step on the gas against teams like the Bengals and Houston and the Niners and obviously the Chiefs. So the Jags don't have a lot of time to feel that out. And I think that was one of the big things about hiring the staff for Liam Coen. If you start putting these pieces together, like, hey, we want to get off to a quick start. We want to get off to a good start. We think confidence is important. We also think we have the pieces to get off to a better start than normally you would at the beginning of a program when you take over as a new coach. Well, that's why he went and got a lot of people that know how to speak his language, from the Udinskis to other folks that know what this offense is, that have been in it before, and that can relay that to Trevor and everybody else faster so that communication works. So all of this kind of lines up to hopefully hit the ground running as fast as possible. But I do think we have to be a little bit aware of how realistic is that. When you're thinking about Trevor in May, still got time to do it. He's going to rep it a lot, but you can't rep the real stuff. You just can't. And what does it look like in September? Then what does it look like in October, November, December, as he gets more confidence in himself and what he's doing and what he's changing, and also in the system and what Liam Coen wants to do. And, I mean, anybody will tell you this, and everybody knows this. It's not going to be a finished product. Like, we get that. But where's the starting point is the big thing. Starting point, if it's a 1 to 10 scale, is the starting point at a 4? Or can it be at a 6 or a 7 to start, where then you can win games still and then get it up a little bit more to 8, 9, 10, whatever that looks like. So I think that part of it's fascinating. That's the physical stuff. The mental part of this is what continues to stick out is this is a complex offense. Now, when people say this, I don't know what the heck that means. Like, we don't have the playbook in front of us. Compared to what? The language and everything else, that's one thing. But it's a complex offense, and part of the reasons it's a complex offense, you'll hear from Liam Coen in just a bit, is because they want to disguise things. They want the defense thinking. They want to set things up. I love the word presentation by Trevor there, where he says, hey, we want to present it in a similar way. It makes it difficult for the defenses. So I think there aren't a lot of tells in this offense, but in doing so, you have to be on your P's and Q's, which means you have to know how to line up, watch the procedural stuff in camp, watch the procedural stuff in the preseason. Can they operate? Can they line up? At times, this team has been good at that in the last few years. At times, they just haven't. It's like, man, can they just line up? I think it was under Urban, where that was a big problem. Now, that might have been an Urban problem with Urban Meyer, but it was a problem. So I think those things really jump out to me, that while this is going to be an offensive team, while there are a lot of weapons there, I just don't know they're just going to jump in and start at, with the gas down and hitting 30 points. Now, I did, when I was thinking of that, I went back and looked at Tampa and what they did early on for Liam Coen. Now, this isn't apples to apples, in my opinion, because they also had Dave Canales before, and there were some, leftovers from that whole thing going on. But he was a new play caller, a new OC for Tampa with Liam Coen. And you know what? They jumped out of the gates okay. They scored 37 against the Commanders right away, and then they go beat Detroit 20-16 last year. Denver got them 26-7. Denver's defense was very good, specifically early in the year. They beat the Eagles 33-16. Boy, that was a heck of a start. Heck of a start by Tampa. I mean, look at those 4 games: Commanders, Lions, Broncos, Eagles. They came out 3-1. That's pretty impressive. We'd sign up for that. They lost to the Falcons 36-30, so they scored points. They put up 51, remember, against the New Orleans Saints. They lost to Baltimore 41-31, so they scored it. Lost to the Falcons 31-26, they scored it. Lost to the Chiefs 30-24, they scored again. Lost to the 49ers 23-20, and then, that was the first half of the year, right? That gets us all the way into November. And then, they got 30 points, 25 points, 26 points, or 26, 28, 40, 24, 48, 27. Did they ever score under 20 points outside of that Denver game? I don't think they did. How about that? The Jags averaged 18 points a game last year. The Tampa Bay Bucks scored under 20 points one time last season. That was it. That would be nice if the Jags can hit the ground running and make that happen. All right, a couple other things that I pointed out on the Trevor stuff. We like our guy in BTJ. And that's that's like everybody's going to say that, right? Well, I think that's an important one, because that means the 50-50 balls, hey, when I got to get bailed out, if I got to go risk something, I'm going to risk it his way. And I think everybody continues to be wowed by Brian Thomas Jr., and not only what he did last year, but what he's doing already this year on the practice field, the momentum that's continued with this young man's early start in his career. So I think Trevor did it again. What Coen has said, he can move all over the place. That gives you confidence to put him in any position. It sounds like he's getting the offense and doing a great job with it. So I continue to think all this love for Brian Thomas Jr., almost like this, wow, this guy's as good as advertised, even from them, to see it over and over again is a great sign of consistency. And when these players and coaches are impressed with a player, I lean on that more than anybody else because they know what good is supposed to look like. And the last one is probably the most talked about thing, right? He said you don't feel like you get stuck in a play that's not set up for success. That's what Trevor said. You don't feel like you're stuck in a play that's not set up for success. And how much of that is a shot at what had become, we think, an old, stale offense with Doug Peterson and company. That really showed itself in last season specifically. It showed itself down the back end of last year. It showed itself so far this offseason in the words from the owner and Shad Khan saying, we got to get a modern offense. Like, we're predictable. And Trevor has now said things to that, back that up at various points. Again, do you interpret it as taking a shot or just the reality of it, right? So it's really not important if he's taking a shot or not. I know we can kind of, look what he just said. It's more the reality of it. The reality is, hey, sometimes you break the huddle and felt like, how's this play going to work against that? Now, I will say, Trevor, over time, whether it was with Doug Peterson and Press Taylor, I don't remember this as much with Urban, he likes to go to this offense has answers. He says that. And I like that. It's a great illustration, meaning if you have a defense, you can go here, right? Or if a defensive set you don't like, or if you need a third down in this, you can get what you want out of it. He did say that at one time about the Doug Peterson Press Taylor offense. He's saying that confidently now about the Liam Coen offense. So where does that fit in kind of just how he embraces an offense and his confidence in what he's got and what's in front of him versus that's the reality that this one really does give you a lot more answers. This one is a more modern offense. This one is not going to get you stuck like Doug Peterson, Press Taylor's offense looked like it had them stuck at times over the last year and change if you go back to the final 6 weeks of really last 4 or 5 weeks of 2023. The last part of it for me is Mark Long asked him about the continuity. It's a good question, right? Because it's the reality of it. You have to find some continuity and consistency sooner or later to put around your quarterback and really to put around the entire football team. But Mark brought up like 3 different centers in 3 years, 3 different offenses now in 5 years, 3 different coaches in 5 years. I mean, you're going to have players that come in and come out and change. That's part of the business. Not a surprise. No Ingram, no Kirk. Okay, now you get a Travis Hunter. You get Brent Strange having an increased role. You get Diami Brown, and that's normal. But what's abnormal is to have 3 different offenses in 5 years and 3 different head coaches in 5 years and having to continue to learn this stuff. I think the center position is one you'd like to actually have some good continuity to. And quite frankly, even with Robert Hainsey in right now, I'm not sure he's like the guy for the next 5 years. He might be, but I'm not sure of that. So Trevor has had to deal with a lot of change. He's had to deal with his own stuff, and he's got to deal with a lot of change. But I like his attitude toward it. Like, it is what it is. You know, I mean, ideally you don't want that, but it is what it is. You embrace it, and you move forward with it. So I like where his head is at in terms of that, but we usually do when it comes to Trevor Lawrence, as he is the face of the franchise, usually says all the right things. So I thought there were a lot of interesting comments from Trevor in that news conference on Monday. Again, one of the few times we'll hear from him until the season starts, as we get just a little glimpse of how this is coming together in Jacksonville with Liam Coen, Trevor Lawrence, Travis Hunter, Brian Thomas Jr., and everyone else. We'll hear a little bit from Liam Coen. John Shipley's going to join us as well, and we'll talk more about the Jags, some of the takeaways. Liam Coen, I thought he was he wasn't as I don't know, let's see how we say this, maybe chipper about everything. Didn't like that toot and put the ball on the ground. You can certainly see that. He wasn't getting over the top dramatic about where they're at right now. He could have easily answered one of the questions, and we'll play it for you, but could easily answer one of the questions oh yeah, doing great. And he was I think said good. No, we're not even close to good yet. So there's a realization going on about what he sees out on that field, and I like that. That goes back to the transparency. That's not just answering a question with some whatever remark. That's just the reality of what's going on in Jacksonville, which would be probably going on everywhere else around the National Football League. Let's do this. Take a break. We come back. We'll talk a little more ball about the Jags. We've got a lot of fun sound to get into, and we're going to hear from some people that you know. We've got a conversation with Dyami Brown, conversation with Tom Coughlin, conversation with Bill O'Brien at the Tom Coughlin J Fund as well. Little Liam Coen, and John Shipley joins us coming up next. It's the Brent Austen Show on the Action Sports Jacks 24/7 network. Cabot Citrus Farms, the place to be. A beautiful backdrop here on a Tuesday afternoon, and a shout-out to the ladies at the front desk, as I think they're watching the show. I hope they found the show, and they're watching the show, so we appreciate them and all their help and hospitality here the last couple of days over in Brooksville, Florida. We'll tell you more about that and how you can get to Cabot Citrus Farms just under 3 hours from Jacksonville as we continue on in the show. When it's time to get a new car for anyone in your family, just remember, nobody but Nimnick, the #1 Buick GMC dealer in Jacksonville. Get the latest price breaks on 2023 and 2024 models or the newest 2025 vehicles in the showroom on Phillips Highway, or shop online at nimnickbuickgmc.com 24 hours a day. GMC Sierras, Yukons, and the redesigned Acadias, or get the all-new redesigned line with Buicks. It's nobody but Nimnick, and part of the reason why is this is a first-class buying experience here at Nimnick Buick GMC. You're not just a customer, you're a friend. This is about getting a vehicle that best fits you and getting you on the road, and also helping you and your family down the road. Nimnick has a treating you right guarantee, courtesy, respect, fairness. And most Buicks, GMCs, and Jacksonville's only Car Bravo dealer, nobody but Nimnick. Who has put in the most years and stands behind a better experience? Nobody but Nimnick. GMC. We are professional grade.
The schedules are out for another summer of soccer here in Jacksonville with the Armada men's and women's under-23 squads, starting with the ladies and the home opener on May 24th. 2 weeks later, they're back in Northeast Florida for a June 7th matchup. The season wraps up with a pair of Friday night home matches June 20th and the 27th. As for the boys in blue, they debut against a couple league newcomers on May 9th and 17th respectively, with more home dates on May 31st, June 14th, and June 21st. All those matches are at Edward Waters University, and you can watch them live on the Action Sports Jacks 24/7 network. Those teams are a big focus on Fleet and Footy, covering the big soccer stories each week on the Action Sports Jacks 24/7 network.
I'll put one in the back of the net for you.
Join us for player profiles, fun interviews, and the very latest on the Fleet and all things footy. That's every Thursday at 2 p.m.
I've been telling you about CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing for a long time now. Their drinking water systems remove up to 99% of contaminants. We've had a Connecticut water softener and drinking water system in our home for more than 7 years. You can see the difference whether you're washing clothes, the dishes, or what I like to do most, fill this up for some coffee every morning, and mostly all day. Remember, if you're not filtering your water, you are the filter. Don't be the filter. Right now, you can get a free Connecticut reverse osmosis system with a purchase of a Connecticut Premier Softener. The experts at CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing will test your water for free and determine your water score. Don't know your water score? CGC will find out and recommend the appropriate Connecticut water treatment solutions so you can improve it. Call 904-552-1242 or visit cgcwater.com. Ask about our 90-day love it or leave it guarantee. CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing, an authorized independent Connecticut dealer. Florida license number CFC 1432579.
There's a saying in sports, you can't win them all, but you can win a lot with good folks on your team. Like that one painter, First Coast. It's tough to beat the sun in Florida, so your home fades. It's tough to beat that HOA when they come calling. Beat the sun, beat the HOA with that one painter, First Coast. And it's a good time to do it. Less rain to work around, and painting in mild temperatures is perfect. After all, the paint bonds to the surface so much better. Give that one painter First Coast a call at 904-417-3557 or look them up at first-coast.thatonepainter.com. Fast estimate, guidance on color and HOA requirements, and the highest quality job you'll find anywhere. Be a big winner in your neighborhood with that one painter first coast on your team.
It's fast-paced,
Hands off on first down, and there goes Edward Vander.
high fly,
Wide open receiver. It's caught.
action-packed, weekend fun. Fun for the entire family. It's the Jacksonville Sharks. I feel like anybody could play in this league. It's gotta be like backyard football, right?
Whoa! This ain't the Arena League, Brent. This is the indoor league, and they play defense here.
It's a lot safer to just watch the professionals play. And watching is a lot of fun. A party in the stands at the arena for kids and adults. And it's indoors. Get out of the heat for the summer and watch the Sharks shine inside. Jacksonville Sharks football, season number 15. It's the Drive for 5, and it's still alive. Get your tickets at jacksharks.com.
Welcome back to the Brent and Austen Show, streaming on the Action Sports Jax 24/7 network.
All right, we love this stuff right here. We started this Committed to the Uncommitted program a few years ago, coming out of the pandemic, and it's turned into a scholarship program. Big thanks to our friends at Nimnicht Buick GMC primarily, but some others along the way. We do it in baseball and softball season as well. We do it in football season. And Kenyon Gardner was our winner of the $2,500 scholarship, and we did that show and presented it to him a couple months ago at Nimnicht Buick GMC off Phillips Highway. Make sure you go give those folks a visit as well, nimnichtbuickgmc.com. Well, you know, this is a tough deal now for these kids. This is why we highlight these kids. Like, where do you get recruited to? When do you commit? He's a senior, and he just committed. That will show you what the landscape is right now in college sports. And he's undersized, but he can fly now. I mean, you can't teach speed. And he's like under 4'4" guy. I think he's like a 4'3" guy. But he's a smaller guy, so he'll be used on special teams. Probably can use in the backfield as well. And Central State University it is. So I hope he found a great fit. And congratulations to him. I know it's been a little bit of a waiting game, and he's had some options, but he didn't jump at anything either. So you appreciate that. Kenyon Gardner, congratulations. He's our Committed to the Uncommitted scholarship winner, and now he's got a home, and we can't wait to follow him the rest of the way. Coming up this summer, probably do a Committed to the Uncommitted show between football and baseball and softball and catch up on some of these kids. And we'll still have our scholarship winners in the spring season to be determined coming up as well in the next couple of months. Welcome back, everybody. Cabot Citrus Farms, a place to be for the Brent Austen Show, at least for the Brent part of the Brent Austen Show here in Brooksville, and sneaking away for a couple of days. Thanks for the hospitality out here. Just a beautiful backdrop and setting, and we've got a breeze going right now, too, which is really nice as everyone back home talks a little bit about the Jaguars coming off the OTA, and this will be it for the week now. You got yesterday, and that's it, and then next week another day, and then another day, and then mini camp, and then that's it until training camp. So that's what lines up the schedule. So because I wasn't there, and I don't like missing it, by the way, we bring in John Shipley from SI right now. He was there, and he knows what's going on. And so we get his big reactions. First, a big hello. And I know you like that high school sports stuff. I know you coached some ball out there. So I saw you shaking your head when we had Kenyon Gardner committed. So good for the kids around here, right? He knows what's going on, and so we get his. All right, John. I think I didn't think we had your audio, so we'll take you off. We'll get you right back on in just a moment. I didn't know if I was just in commercial break, Kim, but if you can figure out John's audio, we'll get him off the screen, and we'll get back to you in just in a moment, John. That will be just hang tight for a second. I was wondering about that, Kim. You got that. You'll get it figured out. If you need John to jump out and maybe jump back in, sometimes that does the trick. But I'll try to you have to unmute him if you can, Kim. So I'm kind of directing the show for you right now. So there you go. There we go. You better now, John? I think we might have you here. There we go. Now? There we go. Hey, sometimes it's live, baby. We just get it. No. We just got to do it. By the time I will, good to see you. Sorry about that. Yeah, you coach some ball out that way, don't you?
Yeah, no, I mean it's awesome to see. Anytime the youth in the Jacksonville area, Duval, Clay County areas, find some success. That's awesome. What was it? Jalen Rivers this past draft, former Oakleaf High School offensive lineman, gets drafted by the Cincinnati Bengals. You had Shaq Quarterman a couple years ago. Anytime there's any youth that is able to take that next step, I think it's awesome to see it highlighted.
What did you what are you still coaching? And what were you coaching out there?
Yeah, so I coach at Orange Park Athletic Association. Me and my dad, it's right near Orange Park Junior High, Orange Park High School. My grandpa coached out there for a long time. My younger brother Ben coached at Oakleaf High School for a couple years. So it's definitely something that runs in the family.
Awesome. You haven't made it up to coaching the Jags yet, so you're just observing. And what did you observe yesterday in a time where we can get a little bit carried away from a catch or a drop or a fumble or a highlight? But what were your thoughts out there when you watched practice yesterday at the first OTA?
Yeah, it's always funny every single year. Everybody says going into OTAs, it's just OTAs, nobody's going to overreact. And then one incomplete pass, and you see everybody just, okay, here we go again. You see Cleveland Browns fans saying, okay, we got the top 5 pick locked up. Just stuff like that. It's always silly every season. And the way I see it is, now that I have 6-7 years of seeing OTAs, I can honestly say OTAs are never really reflective, for what we see as the final product. I've seen OTAs where they've looked horrible and ended up, playing really well in some areas. And I've seen OTAs where I was like, wow, these guys look impressive, and they just come out and didn't really do anything in the following season. So in terms of what I did see, though, because I do think there is something to it in terms of just seeing how these guys are getting thrown new information and how they're retaining it, etc. Because that's, to me, what a big part of this process is at this point in the stage, is just how they're adjusting to the new scheme, the new coaching, because everything's brand new. Obviously the offense, they had some issues with turnovers. I think I counted 5, 4 interceptions from 3 different quarterbacks. 2 didn't put the ball, on the ground on, I think Liam Coen said it was his first carry. Liam Coen was honestly really direct, and honest, afterwards of what he saw. And you got the sense from him that, he kind of expected it to not look great right now as badly as they wanted to, but he definitely summed it up when he said, the defense ahead of the offense as they are expected to be at this point. But, lots of drop passes, missed throws, what you would kind of expect, I think, from a offense learning a completely new scheme in their first real competitive setting.
Yeah, I thought the same thing. We might hear from Liam here in the next little bit, but I think you're right. The way he pretty much was direct, and he wasn't kind of inflaming this or inflating, over dramatizing. He's like, oh, this is early. We're not very good. We need to do that. And I think there's an element. I've talked to Liam a little bit, and you can see that in him, right? You're like, hey, don't sit here and just think we got good name players, we got this, and everything's going to be all set. No, you don't just add Travis Hunter. You don't just get a coaching staff. You don't just hope that the numbers are better with turnovers and 1-score losses. There's a lot of work to be done, and I think there's a reality about it, right, with this new crew, especially when it comes in, and especially when they're not attached to certain players. They didn't acquire these players, and sometimes I think you got to almost be careful to be overly critical against the players that you weren't the one acquiring.
No, 100%. Really, the way I've kind of viewed it is outside of a really small group of players that includes Trevor Lawrence, Brian Thomas Jr., Josh Hines-Allen, Trayvon, obviously Travis Hunter. I don't think there are that many guys from this past regime who you can just say are locked in, ready to go for a starting spot. Tyson Campbell and Foye, you can throw in there, obviously. But otherwise, I think you're unless one of these guys they signed as a free agent to clearly start, like Hainsey and, Patrick McCary and Jordan Lewis, Eric Murray. I think you have to earn your spot. And that was really one of the big things I took away from it, as well as you saw a lot more guys mixed in with what you would call, supposed starting units, et cetera. You didn't see just clearly a first-team offense, second-team offense. You saw a lot of rotation. You saw it on defense as well. And you saw it at the expected spots. You saw offensive line, cornerback, defensive line, the spots where we figured they're going to have the most competition because things are kind of unclear at those spots right now. That's where you saw a lot of guys going in and out. So to me, it's clear that, they're viewing this team really with fresh new eyes and a complete clean slate across the board.
John, you're down there a lot. We hear the news conferences. We hear the different sound. It's what we've got to go on, I think, even more than what's on the field, even after one practice or whatever practice, all the way up until the season, maybe toward the end of camp, and we got some games under our belt. There's a little bit more sample size. What we have to go on right now is the fact that, the Jags need juice in the room, right? I mean, Trevor said it at the end of January. Like, he started throwing the word juice around before these guys were hired. And then they go get Travis Hunter, and you can see what they mean by it, right? You can get the younger staff in there. You can see, you just get the sense that the music's playing a little bit louder in the building or something like that, right? There's an energy to the youth part of this, from the big smile to Travis Hunter, to the air guitar, to the shadow boxing, to the everything else. But, like, they really need that. Like, that's what I think people are like, that's an odd thing to really be a theme of, I think, in pro sports, but even in sports. Like, they have to get these guys up to play a little bit more. And I just wonder, like, was that a Doug Peterson, Trent Baalke kind of blah kind of feel that they couldn't do that and elevate them? Or was this something that really Doug was trying to yearn for and couldn't get it out of these guys for the last year or so?
I definitely think it's the latter of that. I think it's something I don't think happened because Doug Peterson was just, kind of letting the energy, the fire kind of go by the wayside. I think Doug Peterson, you asked him, would probably say, he wanted more of that, more frequently, etc. Sometimes, it just, for whatever reason, the circumstances, the regime, the team that just over the last year and a half, it seems like they just got dealt with hit after hit in terms of, I think injuries probably took a pretty big toll, not only physically, but mentally on the locker room. They missed a lot of key guys for a lot of key time. I was talking to, Justin Lewis yesterday, and we were just talking about some of the guys that were let go. And, I was thinking, wow, the 2022 season is really the only time they saw that complete team and complete offense together the way they wanted it to, because otherwise the last 2 years, guys were just missing time consistently. So I would definitely agree. As somebody who's in the building, throughout the season as frequently as I am, I definitely felt it last season, certainly some in 2023, but last season, really from week one, that there was a certain little something, down pieces of energy that was just missing from the franchise in general, from the locker room, on the field. Just, it seemed like it permeated throughout the entire building. And I'm not sure what a root cause for that is, but I can say it definitely seems like, from Liam Coen to Travis Hunter to the new coaching staff, et cetera, that they made an emphasis to kind of turn that around. And I think you have to be genuine when you do it. I don't think, trying to be anybody but, yourself and trying to be fake or something can get guys more excited. But I think Liam, just his genuine personality and the way he communicates, he's very clear of what he expects, et cetera. I think that gets guys excited. And I think that it's definitely turning toward the right way. Now you can feel it and you can see it at practice, in my opinion. I definitely felt like yesterday, even for what you can probably say was a sloppy practice in terms of the offense, it still felt like a rather spirited one.
Yeah, they want to see it, John, in meeting rooms. They want to see it in the hallways. They want to see it in the cafeteria. They want, get excited, like anybody. And I always say this, this is not just a football thing. You can go into your workplace and that person that kind of elevates people. Like, they might not, I always say this, they might not be that good at their job, but they might have a great personality and really elevate you and kind of bring some life to the party and kind of make an 8-hour day feel like it's a 6-hour day sometimes. So, I think it is a real thing. I just find it so wild that it's become such a talking point for a professional sports team 100%. that was kind of the missing link. And now there are two things, just to belabor this point a little bit more. One, we've identified this for a long time. I mean, if you go back to last year, John might have had you on the show and been like, hey, who's the guy that's going to throw the Gatorade across the locker room, right? That's what they needed to jumpstart this thing, it felt like. We go back to the Houston game. There weren't even scrums in the second half of that game after the hit on Trevor Lawrence. Who's going to help do that kind of stuff? And then the last part is, listen, the Jags have been stuck in, mediocrity would be nice for a long time. And when you have that, how do you change that without the actual W's going on? So I agree with you. It's genuine. I also think it's real intentional right now, John, of even stuff where Liam Coen will say he'll bring up, the connectivity of fist pumping and other things, right? He is actually going that deep into this, the psychology of getting these guys up to play, because they got a bunch of pros, and pros are good. Pros are good, sometimes better when it goes bad. They know how to handle stuff, but you still need the juice at the outset, and every day you need to bring it. And just think it's a wild theme right now of this new regime.
No, 100%. And I agree with you wholeheartedly. If I had to pinpoint, really what this franchise was missing at the end of last year, it wasn't even a certain position group. It wasn't, obviously they need help at certain spots, but it wasn't like any need or anything. I really thought it was just having that new life in the franchise. It seemed like they needed to be intentional in how they hired guys in the offseason to overhaul it. And it definitely seems like with Liam, with Tony Boselli, obviously his leadership role. And even, I think that's a big reason they went out and got Travis Hunter. I mean, I think Les Snead said in a, interview with, I don't remember who it was with, but after the draft, he was asked about, James Gladstone and making that trade for Travis Hunter. And he went on and said, it's not just the talent, but they believe, his competitiveness will raise what they're trying to build there in their culture. So I think that's a big reason why they went after Travis Hunter. He's perfectly embodies, that kind of energy they're looking for. He really is like watching a little kid out of practice. He's the perfect contrast of Brian Thomas Jr., who is, just silent, serious, 100% of the time, just locked in and ready to work. And then Travis playing next to him. It's going to be a really cool dynamic to see. But I think that's a big reason why they brought in some of the guys that they did.
John, you're absolutely right. I mean, there are three reasons, in my opinion, they drafted Travis Hunter. One, because he's a damn good football player, right? And he gives you that. Two, he's a super good dude, and dedicated to the game. They want the old love to play the game. Like, he loves playing football. Like, he wants to be great, and he likes to fish. That's all the guy does. Those two things. So, and then the third part, which is really much closer to the first thing, probably closer than people think, is what you just said. I mean, bringing that energy, bringing that contagious smile, bringing all the stuff that we've already seen. We already feel them. You feel them the first introductory news conference. I think Jacksonville has already felt Travis Hunter. And I think it's a weird thing to say. Again, performance on the field is paramount. That's the biggest part of the pie. But if this was a pie chart and there were those three things that I just mentioned, I'm telling you, the juice part, the smile part, the energy part, the contagious part is a bigger piece than probably most people would think.
No, absolutely. It definitely feels like a very real piece of it. I mean, you hit the nail on the head. It truly seems like, outside of his insanely gifted skill set, being able to play both ways, the Heisman Trophy season, everything that he does, his athleticism, it seems like he really, like you said, cares about football and fishing. I thought the SI cover of him holding the bass was one of the best I've seen in a while. And from, talking to people inside the building, inside the locker room, it comes off right away that he's very mature, really beyond his years. And what he cares about right now is football, and then football.
Yeah, it's pretty good stuff. John Shipley, you wrote about your observations from OTAs. Where can you find it? SimplySI.com, or is there an easier way to get there?
Yeah, you can find it at Jaguars on SI. Just go ahead and Google that, or you can find it at si.com/NFL/Jaguars.
Or you can also follow John Shipley on social media as well. Does a great job. Let me keep you for just another moment or two.
Absolutely.
And ask you a little bit more about the complexity of what the Jags are trying to do schematically. And I don't usually get in the weeds on this stuff, but even me, who's pretty dumb when it comes to the X's and O's, I mean, you can figure out that they're elevating what they're trying to do offensively, the disguise factor. I got this was really strange, man, covering the Doug Peterson, Press Taylor era as you look back on it. Because there were times where I was just like, oh, man, that's awesome. Look, Christian Kirk is in the backfield, and he's going in motion. We didn't see stuff like that. Jamal Agnew looks like he's going in motion, then he comes back out. Little things like that where it looked like the Jags really hadn't done that. It was the modern day of mixing stuff up. And then it's like it went back to getting stale. Last year, about 1 million times, I said, where's the Christian Kirk in the backfield, or whoever that is? Put Parker Washington back there. I mean, it came out of the gates with Evan Ingram in a fullback type of position, I think, early in the season. And that was about as creative as they got until the end of the year when they started using Brian Thomas Jr. a lot more. So my point here is I think this offense, at least from the sound of it, is going to feel and look more creative. But with that comes a complexity, which means these guys have got to get it down, or you risk having a lot of procedural problems early in the year.
100%. I think, honestly, that's a big reason why you probably saw some of the mistakes that, you saw at OTAs. It's their first day in a competitive setting, learning this brand new offense, which by all accounts is, pretty complex. To me, the best way to describe it without, giving away too much of the tactical information that, we're obviously not allowed to is, I saw Matt LaFleur gave a great, quote. He's from the same coaching tree, obviously, as Liam under Sean McVay, all those guys. And he said a big thing that Sean McVay does is he just likes to have as much motion as possible because, it just you can do different things off of it. You can make plays play off emotion. You make defense give up their leverage and kind of reveal what they're doing. And to me, that was one of the big things I think you're going to see, at least my impression so far, seeing a couple practices from this Jaguars offense. You're going to see a lot more of that. And I agree with you. It felt like the last Jaguars offense just never really, put a defense in constraints. It kind of felt like they were just saying, here's what we do. We're going to do it each week, and we're going to hope that we execute right, as opposed to, scheming up easy stuff. And they definitely went with some, wacky and creative stuff at times. I mean, that Travis Etienne run, to get into field goal range against the Chargers was certainly a creative play, but definitely felt like, at least over the last year and a half, got too static, too stale. I think a big emphasis on this new offensive scheme is to never be that. I think just in terms of pure, X's and O's and the different things that you're going to see, I think this is going to be one of the, more interesting Jaguars offenses that we've seen in a long time.
Yeah, that'll be fun. And that is fun. I think people are starving for that, man. They're thirsting for that. The one thing you can say, and I'll give a little bit of defense for the Doug offense, press offense, whatever it was, when you start getting people beat up, it's harder to become and look more creative, right? I mean, they just haven't been repped as much as the other guys. They don't have it down as much, and when you're moving people in and out. So that might be a little bit of a lesson here. Jags got to move people in and out, get everybody ready to go, because you are going to lose some guys. Hopefully they just don't lose as many guys as they have lost over the last couple of years. All right, one more thing, and then we'll let you run. Appreciate you taking a few minutes. John Shipley with SI, and read all his stuff. Check him out on social media. Coming out of the OTAs yesterday. We'll hear from Campanile next week. We got an idea that he's a little bit of a maniac, which I kind of like, and that means aggression, and forget about wearing it on a hat. Instead, I just think you can feel the personality of it. So, but I don't fully know what this is going to look like. I'm not sure any of us do right yet. How he's going to move. You talk about chess pieces. We talk about on offense. I think on defense, there's an element of that we're going to get. I just don't really have a good feel yet of what it's going to kind of look like.
No, 100%. And that was a big thing. People would ask, throughout the offseason, I would do mailbags and stuff like, what's the scheme? Is it going to be a 3-4 or 4-3? And it's hard to say before you actually see these guys out on the practice field, especially with the first-year coordinator. I'd say, you can probably draw a lot from what Green Bay's defense looked like last year. I think, Liam Coen, when he was talking about Tyson Campbell yesterday, gave a really good answer as to, what they're kind of expecting his role to be. And, he said he's going to be playing off the ball a little bit more. It could be man coverage, could be zone coverage, but we saw them do predominantly press coverage, last season. That feels like kind of getting back to what some of their defenders do best, which is kind of read the quarterback and make plays on the ball, as opposed to, traveling with guys all over the field in man coverage. And I think, as the offseason goes on, we'll see more and more of what to expect from, Camp and his defensive scheme. But I think at least the idea of, I'd imagine, what they're going to do is, everybody throws out the buzzwords of, being explosive and physical and stuff, but it really does seem like a defense that wants to play downhill, present different looks for the offense. And I think, when it comes to, like, say, the preseason and seeing this scheme in a real, not real, but in an actual game type setting, I think I'm almost more excited to see the defense than the offense, just to see, what his kind of spin on things are.
Well, John, I think you bring up a good point, man. I think, listen, they want to play. Everybody wants to play mostly downhill and be aggressive and everything else. But it was a simplistic defense last year under Nielsen. It was supposed to be. It didn't certainly play out that way, but it was supposed to be a simple defense. I think Campanile's is going to be a little bit more complex. And in a way that worries me, because, like, if the Jags couldn't play the simple defense very good, is that a problem with learning and being whatever good enough to play a complex defense, or maybe it fits these guys better? Like, I just don't know. I don't know how any of us can know that kind of thing just yet. But I'm intrigued by it, too. If you really look at the numbers, the Jags are at 18.8 points a game or something like that. They can certainly get better. They can get better. They can maybe score 23 a game or something. You'd win more football games if you do that. But really, their grossest level of improvement can come on the defensive side of the ball. I mean, they were dead last in like a ton of categories. Gave up 71 explosive plays, Daniel Griffiths told us yesterday on ActionSportsShacks.com about the safeties. I mean, the easiest fix to get better in 2025, John, is actually just like being average on defense.
100%. If you have an average defense, and at least what we think we can expect from Liam Coen, just, not even looking at everything he might do as a head coach, but just purely from him as an offensive mind and offensive play caller, I think that's a pretty decent recipe for success. And, what it takes to, take them from being league worst to average, whether that was more coaching or, roster. Definitely seems like from all their moves this offseason, they think a lot of it had to do with coaching. They obviously added a lot of pieces to the secondary as well. So that was probably what they deemed that was the biggest area of improvement. But like you said, if they can take this defense simply, from 32nd to 18, 19, 20, I think they at least have a decent shot in most games.
John Shipley from SI. Appreciate it, man. We'll keep following along. Thanks for taking a few minutes today. Have a good rest of your week, and we'll see you next week out there.
Hey, thanks for having me on, man. Appreciate it.
All right, that is John Shipley. Does a nice job. Read all about him. His different observations. I didn't want to give them all away, so you could go read about him. But one of his observations was about Diami Brown, and we will have a conversation with Diami Brown and Alivia Tassely coming up in just a little bit. But everybody likes to play in the dirt, right? The next guy we bring on the show, that's kind of his job out here at Cabot Citrus Farms. We'll dig in the dirt when we come back on the Brent Austen Show on the Action Sports Jacks 24/7 Network. Thanks for hanging with us. Still hear from Tom Coughlin, Liam Coen, Bill O'Brien, Diami Brown, all on the way. A lot going on at Jags headquarters these days. Meanwhile, we're just chilling out here on the other side of the state, having a good couple of days at Cabot Citrus Farms. Most of us know how to throw. But you need to know what to throw. I'm not talking about footballs, baseballs, softballs. We're talking about those items you need to recycle. Republic Services explains it easy. Recycling simplified. 1. Know what to throw. When in doubt, throw it out. 2. Empty, clean, and dry those materials. It takes an extra minute, but it makes a big difference. And 3. Don't bag it. This makes the recycling process faster and more efficient. This is a look at the Republic Services North Florida Recycling Center. You can make this process even more efficient. By utilizing those 3 steps, Republic Services can help you become a better recycler in your home. Learn more at recyclingsimplified.com.
For the game day hustle and every day in between. Juggling my show, Jag Social, to going under the Friday night lights and a social life, it's a daily tournament. But this ride, MVP status. The all-new 2024 Lincoln Nautilus isn't just my car, it's my personal locker room, office on the go, and VIP lounge on wheels. Let's talk tech. My profile remembers everything from customizing my dash display to setting the ambient lighting and my signature scent. And wireless charging, essential for live tweeting scores. Whether I'm packing for a beach day with friends or heading to the gym, there's space for every passion. After dominating all day, this becomes my recovery zone. The massage feature is like having a personal PT on call. Life's a non-stop game, but with this ride, I'm always on my A game. The 2024 Lincoln Nautilus. Drive your passion.
You trust CGC to make your water great, and now you can trust CGC with your plumbing needs as well. Fast, convenient scheduling, licensed and insured. A quick call away at 904-552-1242. You never know when you're going to have an issue with a shower, toilet, or maybe it's a sink that sometimes is easy to fix. All right, let's be honest. I'm not fixing anything. I'm totally staging this because when I have a plumbing problem, I call CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing. Trained professionals, transparent pricing, customer satisfaction. Small problem or even a bigger issue. Save 10% off any water heater, plus no trip charge. The experts with 25 years of experience at CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing can do it all. Call 904-552-1242 or visit cgcwater.com. For a limited time, CGC is waiving the trip charge on all related plumbing calls. CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing, an authorized independent Connecticut dealer. Florida license number CFC 1432579.
If you look good, you feel good. And the medical professionals here at Ponte Vedra Vein and Aesthetics are here to make you feel your best. I'm on camera every week, and I have a confession to make. I'm not always confident in my appearance. Can you see my dark circles? Is my makeup highlighting my fine lines instead of covering them up? I question it all. So when I found out about the wide variety of procedures here at Ponte Vedra Vein and Aesthetics, I knew help was just one appointment away. Medical Director Dr. Megan Deacon Casey and her board-certified physicians have been using the latest in cutting-edge technology for the last 10 years, giving men and women their personal confidence boost. From Botox, fillers, Morpheus 8, and so much more. The hardest part was figuring out what I needed. Thankfully, the medical team walked me through what would work best for me through a free consultation. Come look and feel your best with the team here at Ponte Vedra Vein and Aesthetics. Visit them at one of their 2 locations, either over in Ponte Vedra or on the south side.
Baker's Sports. It's a hometown business filled with hometown people trying to make you feel right at home.
Chris Conley, Jacksonville University. Walker Wright, class of 2018, West Nassau High School. Michael Young, Fletcher High School.
Baker's Sports started in a grassroots way and now outfits much of the Southeast.
Will Olive, Mandarin High School. Go Stangs.
High school sports, travel sports, youth sports of all kinds. They are a one-stop shop carrying Nike, Adidas, Under Armour brands, and more.
Vincent Caldes, Oakleaf High School. Tony Mazzio, Sandwood High School, class of 2002. Samuel Coughlin, Paxton School for Advanced Studies.
Whether it's sports teams on the field or it's your team in the workplace, like our Action Sports Jacks team, and community events like the Dream 18 Golf Tournament, and many others.
Cole Tilley, Hilliard High School. Reagan Webb, Eagles U Academy.
Look good, feel good, play good with Baker's Sports. Custom sports apparel since 1997. Shop with the hometown team at bakersport.com.
Welcome back to the Brent and Austen Show, streaming on the Action Sports Jacks 24/7 network.
Well, there's a look once again here at Cabot Citrus Farms, just a small piece of this big property that has 2 18-hole courses, a 10-hole course, 11-hole course. We did the putting green yesterday. Had to get better after my round. A lot of 3-putts yesterday on the Roost. Today we play the Carew course, and fun learning about this property here in Brooksville. One of the great stay and play areas now in the state of Florida, and somewhat new, right, over the last couple of years. A reimagined golf course from Whirlwinds that had been here since the early 90s, and now a Cabot property. First one in the United States, by the way, Cabot Citrus Farms, and we're learning a little bit more about it. We've been able to tell you a little bit about it. Great to have Dave Bennett on yesterday, the GM, a UNF alum, a UNF Hall of Famer, by the way, national All-American when he played golf at UNF, and he's the GM. Well, we've got another connection of sorts here. This is Steve Blake, director of Agronomy, and he's a Wisconsin guy. So I kind of wish Austin was on the show right now, and you guys could talk about all things Wisconsin. You grew up right outside of Green Bay.
I did, and I'm sure nobody wants to listen about that because a lot of Jakes fans. But yes, a huge Packer fan. Go Cheeseheads. All things Wisconsin as far as Packers, Brewers, Badgers, Bucks.
All right. Well, you got to give us your analysis, and we talk football like 80% of the time here on this show. I mean, you like where the Packers are at right now, or what?
I do. I have to say that having Jordan Love, there's a lot of enthusiasm. He reminds me a lot more of a Brett Favre type.
Yeah.
Takes a few risks.
He does.
But he's exciting to watch, and it's the enthusiasm is better. We probably could have gotten rid of Rodgers, I think, a couple years earlier. I think it would have been a better move for us. But I like where we're sitting. Hopefully, we got some nice key parts. Hopefully, we can make a run for the Super Bowl.
It's a bit unfair, by the way, as we cover the Jaguars all the time, to go from Favre to Rodgers to potentially Jordan Love. That's not supposed to work that way.
Yeah, it is a blessing. One of the things that but I'm always thinking, with that amount of talent at quarterback, to only have 2 Super Bowls is pretty kind of pathetic.
It is kind of crazy, right?
We've done very little with a lot.
Yes. Yeah, I think you're right.
Makes me very jealous of Patriots fans, so I'm very jealous of that.
Yeah, there you go. Everybody is. Now the Chiefs fans, too.
Yeah.
So, hey, this is cool. We were just talking about your story. You're actually not too far from where Austin grew up in Iola, closer to Green Bay, and you've got a unique path to get here as a director of agronomy.
Yeah, so, I kind of started traditionally like a lot of superintendents do. I was an assistant at 2 very nice clubs in Wisconsin, higher-end clubs, Milwaukee Country Club, North Shore Golf Club. Kind of cut my teeth there, worked there for 8 years between the 2 places. Then I got my head job as a superintendent at a country club. And then a friend of mine said, hey, actually happened to be the general manager at the time, said, hey, I got a couple friends that have a little bit of money. What if we went and bought a golf course and managed it? I thought, at first I said, that's a really crazy idea, not a very smart one. And then finally, after a couple beers, over a period of time, he told me, he kind of convinced me maybe I should do that, kind of be your own boss. So I did that for about 7 years, give or take. And we're just to the point where we were doing well, starting to make some money. Unfortunately, I had a tornado. And a couple of the investors said, you know what, we're going to just back out. And so at that point, we just kind of backed out of it. And then I got into resort golf for just a short period before I came here. And Mike Nuzzo, who's architect of the 21, I've known him for quite a while, just because I was looking to find an architect to do some work at the country club that I was at, Ridgeway. And so him and I had a relationship for, now 15 years. But prior to coming here, we talked on the phone quite a bit. I went down to visit him in Houston a couple times. And he said, hey, there's a job opening here. Would you be interested? I said, absolutely. Come down to Florida and not have to deal with the bitter cold. Are you kidding me? Just because I'm from Wisconsin doesn't mean I like the cold weather. I don't. So it's been a real great time coming down here, building the golf courses, starting basically from square one where all it was out here was sand. So sand is as far as you could see. The old Pine Barrens and the Oaks, which was Worldwoods, kind of had a cult following in the game of golf nationally and even globally. When it first started, Carew was, which used to be the Pine Barrens, used to be a world top 100 golf course. Yeah. And then slowly, as the years went, it kind of just went down the hill a little bit because the maintenance wasn't quite there. A couple things just started, and slowly over the next 20 years, it kind of just fell off the map. But people that came here said, man, if they just had a little bit more money, if they just put a little bit more into it, how great this property could be. And so Ben Cowan-Dewar, affectionately known as BCD, our owner of our company, went and bought this a few years ago and then turned it into what it is today, which is a family-friendly resort. We've got a lot of options for families and fun. We also have two championship-style golf courses, the Carew and the Roost, but we have tees at every level. So we've got it back to like 7,500 yards, 7,600 yards, all the way to 3,500 yards. So even on those courses, it's very friendly to both women and kids. And then, of course, our short courses, the par 3 over here, and then which is the wedge and squeeze, putting course. The driving range, which I'm sure you saw, which is awesome. Yeah. With the TrackMan, so you can actually track all your stats, your spin rate, carry distance, all that.
Spend all day out there?
Absolutely. And a lot of people do. I don't spend much time on the range, but
me either. I had to spend, after putting yesterday, I had to spend a little more time on the putting green. But that's pretty cool. It's it's a cool concept, and obviously it's a concept that's really spread out all over the country now. And this kind of stay and play type of golf has become a big thing in the industry. And golf's in such a great place right now, but this is part of it, right? And this is a cool one here in the state of Florida. And also, as I was mentioning yesterday to Dave, it's not like too remote. You can fly into Tampa if you're an out-of-towner, and 50 minutes later you're here.
Yeah, if you drive like me, it's like 40 minutes. But no,
2:45 from Jacksonville, not a bad drive, by the way. Maybe 2:35 if you're like him.
Yeah, or in Orlando, you're about an hour, depending on traffic, and it's an hour and a half to 2 hours, depending on where in Orlando you're at. So that's not far either. At Jacksonville, I'm not quite sure. That might be 2.5.
Well, it took us 2:45.
Yeah.
So not bad at all.
Yeah.
Not bad at all. A little more of the back roads and stuff, but it was an easy drive. So it's great. Within 3 hours to be able to do that is outstanding.
Yeah, and Carew, I think it was number 32 public best you can play golf magazine. So obviously, having that is nice. Roost obviously is very new, so it hasn't been rated yet, but I'm feeling very optimistic about that. It's just a fun experience, totally different. You couldn't get
you said that.
Yeah, Carew and Roost. You couldn't get two more totally different golf courses from that perspective of Roost is more traditional, tree lined. Bunkers that kind of line the fairways, traditional rough along the fringes, and then Carew is this big open expanse of sand, big fairways, big greens, very undulating. Like I said, it's like one golf course could be on the moon, the other one's like Mars. It's totally, which is great from a perspective of each day. If you stay here for a couple days, you're going to get a totally different experience. So.
By the way, I say that a lot. Like we even have some courses back in Jacksonville, or you bounce around the state of Florida a little bit, and when you get that experience where you kind of say to yourself, it doesn't always feel like just another Florida golf course, right? And that's what you get when you're here, too. And I like that feeling. And it seems like this part of the state, at least you can do that based on the natural soil and other things that it kind of presents to you, right? Exactly. From an architectural and agronomy standpoint.
Yeah, so most of the property, there is a little bit of clay on Roost. I would say like 2/3 of that property is on clay, but the rest of the golf courses are on sand, which when we built it, obviously makes it very... You can kind of mold it and construct it in a way that's really cool. Fits in with the environment because most of Florida is sand. Mm-hmm. But the environment that you're in, it's more of what I call naturalized golf, where you're really kind of immersed in nature while you're out here, and it's not uncommon to see deer, turkeys, all kinds of different critters out there while you're playing. And so that's kind of cool if you're into that kind of thing.
Yeah.
That you'll see probably all that in one day if you're out there playing and looking around. Just to be immersed in that kind of thing and not to be in a city setting, like some golf course, which is nothing wrong with that. But here you really are out where you feel like by yourself out there playing, immersed in nature, which is kind of a unique thing. And then, of course, the terrain, right, with the ups and the downs, which is very abnormal for Florida.
Yeah, this is more hilly part of Florida.
Yeah. When I moved here from Wisconsin, I actually was surprised, not just with this property, but this kind of general area, Brooksville. There is some, quite a bit up and down hill. Kind of reminds me more of like Texas Hill Country.
Yeah.
Very unique, very cool. Something that you don't get on a lot of other traditional Florida golf courses. Where home is usually lined one or two sides of each hole. We don't have that. It's more, immersed with the nature part of it. So it's pretty cool.
I feel like when you talk to a guy that knows the agronomy so well of a golf course, like, do you like actually just ever just sit and enjoy a golf course, even if you go play it in another spot, or you're always kind of like, you're always like that cook that if you go to a restaurant, you're like, well, you're always judging to a degree, right? Or you kind of you just see it in a different lens, right?
Yeah, you do. And I think the thing I don't do when I go play somewhere else, I'm totally playing golf.
Okay, you can turn it off.
I am more interested in talking and playing with my friends. How much am I up in the bet? Which, by the way, David, I know he talked yesterday, beat me last week. So
he did.
About
that.
By
the way, the guys that we saw earlier, Tyler and your director of golf. Well, I don't know if he was on that team. Who was on which team? Because the Bushwhackers said they got you or something. I don't know. I don't know who was on which team. Tyler made sure I threw that in.
I was on a Bushwhacker, by the way, just so you know. Team Bushwhacker beat us pretty good. So anyway, it is what it is. We did beat them the first time, but they begged for strokes this time. So that's what I will say. They begged for strokes. They got the stroke. They beat us fair and square. So we have a rubber match, which is going to come up on a neutral site somewhere in the area. We don't know where yet, but I'm looking for revenge, David. That's all you need to know.
All right, so there we go. You could get that. Steve Blake with us, Director of Agronomy. What do you do? I mean, this is going to be a weird question, but there's a lot of land out here. There's a lot to maintain. How big's the staff? Give us a sense of what kind of toys you have out here, and what do you do daily? I mean, because it's you can never be done.
Yeah, and honestly, with what we do is, no matter what golf course I've been at, the work never goes away. It just changes from day to day and from season to season. But we have right around 100 employees. The property itself is about 1,500 acres. But the golf courses and the cottages take up right now about 800 acres. So that's really kind of where our focus is at this point. So it's about 100 people, give or take. My days vary. The one thing that I will say about this job, it's more managerial versus I don't really get my hands dirty as much as I used to, which is kind of, I wish a little bit more I would get more of that, but it comes with the territory, I guess. With being so big and spread out, that it's more of just overseeing everything in that way. But I have a good staff. We have superintendent at each course. We have, obviously equipment manager back behind the scenes, making sure all the equipment's good. I actually have an assistant director of agronomy who's got quite a bit of experience. He also was a director of agronomy one time over in California, so it's good to have somebody with a lot of experience to help me kind of navigate the waters of, big property, lots of people, expectations, all those kinds of things, and so far so good.
We have the fortune to be around some of the greats, even in the Jacksonville or in the state of Florida, but with TPC Sawgrass and the Players Championship, and you talk to these guys that know your world so well, which is fascinating because we don't know it very well. We just kind of tee it up and play golf. What are some of are there some new things going on, whether it's green, the style of grass you're using versus 10 years ago in Florida or wherever else, or what's maintaining better, or give us some of the evolution, if you could, that stands out when I ask you that, because there's probably a ton of it. But
we could spend like 10 shows on this.
Probably,
but like I think in Florida, one thing, like Sawgrass, obviously they have a large event in March, so they overseed.
Yeah.
Here we don't overseed for a couple reasons. We want to keep it kind of that brawny color. Number one, and also we don't want to water. Once you add ryegrass, we got to water more, which means you're not going to get that ground game that we like here at Cabot. So that's on purpose. But I will say this, with the Bemini Bermuda grass that we've chosen for our tees, fairways, and approaches, that has definitely helped us out a lot. And I would say that most golf courses today in Florida are definitely switching over if they're doing renovation work, or just because it does hold a green color longer, and the need to overseed is almost nil.
Oh, wow. Wow.
So even if we wanted to with this Bemini, we may not need to. And I would say you're going to see a trend of that more and more the next couple of years. It's just as good as any other Bermuda, but it has that green color, plays great, looks good, and that's why we chose it.
And what do you guys have on the greens?
Tiff Eagle, which is pretty
common now.
Yeah, pretty much. I think most people either have Tiff Eagle or Champion.
Yeah.
My nod goes to Tiff Eagle.
Yeah, and I think I think I hear Tiff Eagle like it feels like 9 out of 10 times.
And I'm a bent grass guy, obviously from the north in POA, but I'll take Tiff Eagle over even. It's as good as any bent grass. It's very good. It's actually more resilient too. So even if you have a little bit of stress, it does recover quicker than like a bent grass, which takes longer to recover. So, but go back to your other question about going to other golf courses. I really don't, like I said, I don't judge them much because I don't know their situation. Every superintendent has to deal with different things, and I don't know what those are. And so it's easy to point and look at this or look at that, but I just generally enjoy the game. And it's a lot easier for me to go somewhere else and play and drink beer than it is to come here because all I see is work. So that's the benefit of it. I don't see work when I go there. I only enjoy myself. So
Wisconsin, by the way, might have, and I've never played up there, but I want to, some of the most underrated golf in the country.
Yes. So, as far as for courses you can play,
yeah,
absolutely. I think it's right up there. I think it might be number one now. Most courses that you can play, public golf courses in the country. In fact, I think it's one of the best destinations in the world. So it's getting up there. You've got the Sand Valley Resort. You've got Kohler, which got Whistling Straits, Black Wolf Run. You've got Lasonia Links,
Erin Hills,
right? And then a lot of other courses. So you can kind of do a whole trip there, spend a whole week, and play about a dozen courses. And they're all different. They're all in different environments. Just a great place to go as well. Check a Packer game. Maybe if they're playing the Jags, who knows?
Well, here's the deal. On the Packer stuff, it's the only stadium I haven't been to. Because we travel with the Jags, and we were supposed to go in the pandemic year. And so we didn't travel. So but the way it works out, you got to wait like another, I think it'll be 8 years. So in 28, we'll probably go back to Green Bay. So I got to make that trip. And I've even been to the new ones now. I've been to New LA and New Vegas. But only stadium I haven't been to. And I didn't go to the draft this year. We could have done that, but that still wouldn't have counted.
Yeah, it doesn't count like going to a game there. And, it's a great experience. If anybody has a chance to go, it's worth it. Jags fans, root for your team. We're pretty good fans, so we're not going to rough you up too much, other than on the football field. We like to have a good time, but we are also respectful of the other people's fans, other than Bear fans.
Do you like, though, what they've done around the stadium? Because some people don't. Like, I remember going to Wrigley Field with all the history. Wrigley didn't like, the fans there didn't like when they started to build up the stuff or put a Jumbotron out there. But they've built up around Lambeau. Has that been pretty well received?
I would say yes. I think the people that probably like it the least are the people that live in that area. But I think generally from a fan perspective, absolutely love it. You can go there all year long. They've got like a skating rink. They've got a ski hill. They've got some nicer restaurants. They've got a hotel that's a little bit higher end now. The only thing they haven't changed is it's still bench seats.
Yeah.
But they've had a lot of luxury stuff on top. But, generally 90+% of the seating is bench seating, which... I'm a big guy. It's tough to sit. Got all the layers of clothes on. Where's my beer go? It's not good.
I was going to say with the layers of clothes on, too. And everybody's a little bit bigger when it comes to December. Steve Blake, Director of Agronomy here. All right, we're going to leave you with this. I said, hey, I asked the front desk. I asked the guys, Tyler and everybody. I was like, hey, I need some dirt on Steve. I mean, the best I could come up with, man, was you just had your tooth fixed. And I don't know the story behind that. And also the ladies at the front desk, they say you got great dogs, but you don't bring them in. They want them in.
Yeah, they're protection dogs. I don't want to be chasing away people out here, But no, they're puppies. I will have them out. It's just they're not quite ready to be out here and harassing the people just quite yet. But they will definitely be out here. The tooth thing, I actually had some buddies that came into town and ended up being... I lost my tooth biting on a Dorito of all things. I had a crown that was broke. Anyway, I was missing the tooth. They thought it was great. They took pictures of it. In fact, one of them was in a Pope outfit. They superimposed it on there. It was pretty fun. But yeah, Tyler can say whatever he wants. But the reality is, next time we play, we're going to beat him. I have no doubt in my mind.
I like it. It sounds like, by the way, you've got a staff that you guys. It's kind of like a cozy place, is the way I described it to Dave yesterday. Mm-hmm. And it feels like you've got a little bit of that. I don't know if that's a Cabot thing. Or if it's just this thing because it's so new and you got people kind of collectively coming in and this is kind of family for a lot of folks.
Yeah, and we're a startup and it's a new course, right? And there's a construction phase and everything's new, right? And so it's not going to say it's not easy.
Yeah.
Like it's a lot of work and it takes a team of people and we're kind of all in it together. win, lose, or draw. And so that in and of itself breeds close-knit people that are, the people that are here are built for this. They're built to go through the difficult challenges of building a golf course, which it's hard. A lot of decisions have to get made, and those people, just because of that, and then after work maybe go enjoy playing 9 holes of golf and see how it all lays, or have dinner or whatever. Same with my staff. Every Thursday my staff tries to get out and play, and sometimes it's only 10 people, sometimes it's 30. They just find a place to play out there after work. And they have their own little games, and they enjoy it. And some people have caught the bug.
Yeah.
Never really played a lot, and now all of a sudden they want to play every week, which is kind of cool to see.
Yeah, it's a cool place to play. Steve Blake, Director of Agronomy, good to see you, man.
Appreciate it. Thank you very much.
He was excited, by the way, that he got on before we hear from Tom Coughlin. The Tom Coughlin part's coming on in a little bit.
I love it.
Of course, you remember the frozen face game of Tom Coughlin, not in a great way, though.
Geez. Yeah,
sorry to bring that up.
That's one of the, among many games, that was tough. I don't think Brett Favre wanted to be there that day. That's all I can tell you.
I like it. Austin's going to miss out on this segment, but you guys could have gone all day probably for your Packers fans back home. Thanks, man. Good to see you and good catch up with you. Good luck with the rest of it, but it looks like you're doing a heck of a job out here at Cabot Citrus Farms. Alivia Tassely will join us coming up next. We hear from Dyami Brown. She talked to him and a little bit of Tom Coughlin as well. Still on the way in the Brent Austen Show on the Action Sports Jacks 24/7 network.
There's a saying in sports. You can't win them all, but you can win a lot with good folks on your team. Like that one painter, First Coast. It's tough to beat the sun in Florida, so your home fades. It's tough to beat that HOA when they come calling. Beat the sun, beat the HOA with that one painter, First Coast. And it's a good time to do it. Less rain to work around, and painting in mild temperatures is perfect. After all, the paint bonds to the surface so much better. Give that one painter First Coast a call at 904-417-3557 or look them up at first-coast.thatonepainter.com. Fast estimate, guidance on color and HOA requirements, and the highest quality job you'll find anywhere. Be a big winner in your neighborhood with that one painter First Coast on your team.
People helping people. It's at the core of what Alive Credit Union is all about, and it's been that way for over 70 years. From the start in 1954 to today, the mission remains to inspire financial wellness and give you a financially fit lifestyle. Alive Credit Union and its employees are committed to not only serving their valued members, but also our community here in Northeast Florida. I had a chance to see that commitment firsthand as Alive partnered with our Action Sports Jacks 24/7 team to bring you Armada men's and women's soccer broadcasts. Inside the 18, it is a shot, and it's a goal! Chloe Chivers! And that connection to the community continues with Alive Credit Union's support of the Police Athletic League of Jacksonville. Alive Credit Union's commitment to our community also involves serving the financial needs of all first responders through the recent merger partnership with City and Police Federal Credit Union. Join the community and become a member of Alive Credit Union today. Find out the many ways you can be inspired in financial wellness at alivecu.coop.
It's fast-paced.
Hands off on first down, and there goes Edward Vander.
High fly.
Wide open receiver. It's caught.
Action-packed. Weekend fun. Fun for the entire family. It's the Jacksonville Sharks. I feel like anybody could play in this league. It's gotta be like backyard football, right?
Whoa! This ain't the Arena League, Brent. This the indoor league, and they play defense here.
It's a lot safer to just watch the professionals play. And watching is a lot of fun. A party in the stands at the arena for kids and adults. And it's indoors. Get out of the heat for the summer and watch the Sharks shine inside. Jacksonville Sharks football, season number 15. It's the drive for 5, and it's still alive. Get your tickets at jacksharks.com.
Are you about to graduate high school and haven't decided on what you want to do when you get done? Well, one option is to apply to become a student in the Electrical Training Alliance of Jacksonville. Their program offers structured classroom and online training, along with on-the-job training so that you can earn while you learn. Still not convinced? The folks at ETA Jacks are a tuition-free 4-year apprenticeship program. There is no tuition and no student debt. Just pay for your books and your fees. That's it. Now, speaking of pay, students, they start off making $40,000 per year, including benefits, and they graduate, get this, making over $80,000 per year, including those sought-after benefits. Now, that sounds pretty good to me, and if that sounds good to you, it should check off a lot of boxes. So head on over to etajax.org and apply by May 15th. Again, the website right here, etajax.org. Don't wait, apply today.
Grab some friends and go to a restaurant or head out for a drink and some conversation. Watch your favorite team play on the big screen. Or how about play some games? You can do all of that in one night at Best Bet. Each location has a different vibe, its own personality, like here at the original Best Bet in Orange Park. When you walk through these doors, everybody knows your name. And here in St. Augustine, it's the newest location. Play some poker. How about the table games? And don't forget about Ace's Sports Bar and Grill. And then there's the Jacksonville location right here on Monument Road. It's the biggest poker room in the state of Florida. Maybe you'll find yourself a seat right here at the final table. Best Bet, where you can have the best of times. And that makes you always go home a winner. Try any of the 3 locations, and you can always visit bestbetjax.com.
Welcome back to the Brent and Austin Show, streaming on the Action Sports Jax 24/7 network.
Hey, welcome back in the Tom Coughlin J-Fund. Was that Coach Coughlin on 17 knocking in a putt? Good shot. We were able to get that one. Now, listen, there have been few people that have spent as much time playing the 17th hole than Tom Coughlin. Like, he plays it annually all day, and I think he has probably taken more swings at that hole than anybody else, or it's got to be pretty close. I'm trying to think of who else could even be in that realm. I mean, you can play and be a member, but you're still once however, right? I mean, he literally hits a ton of shots each and every tournament, or at least has probably stood on that green longer than anybody else. Another great edition of the Tom Coughlin J-Fund, Sunday night with the dinner. Monday, of course, with the golf, and looks like it was a beautiful day. I know it's been hot, but that's May, but they got good weather. So congratulations to everybody with the Tom Coughlin J-Fund. Brent Martineau, we welcome you back to the Brent Austen Show, the Action Sports Jax 24/7 network. We'll hear from Coach Coughlin in just a bit. We'll also hear, I think, from Bill O'Brien today if we get that in. Still got a lot of sound, actually, but we got a couple more days left in the week, too, folks. So we have time to share it with you. A couple of updates as we are back here live at Cabot Citrus Farms for another day. We'll head back tonight, back in studio tomorrow. Jacksonville University baseball team in the A-Sun tournament. They are up 4-1 right now. They just added another run, so up 4-1 in the bottom of the 7th. In the opening round of A-Sun play against North Alabama. The University of North Florida Ospreys will play in a couple of hours. I want to say, actually, it might be around 12:30. I can't remember, 12:30 or 2:30. We'll update you that today on Action Sports Jax on CBS 47 and Fox 30. Both JU and UNF need to win the A-Sun tournament to get to the NCAAs, much like the UNF softball team just did last weekend to get into their regional. So we'll see if maybe a little magic for both of those teams. UNF playing pretty good down the stretch. Won 5 out of 6 games. And JU had been playing pretty well, but actually lost 7 out of their last 8 games. So this would be a nice win to regain some momentum. They look capable. A-Sun can be wide open, so we'll see. Florida Gators start against South Carolina tonight at 5:30 in the SEC tournament. So it's that time of year in college baseball tournaments, and then the NCAAs and the road to Omaha begins. One other thing I want to give you an update on. We have Trinity Christian, the only team left in high school baseball or softball, playing in the state semifinals today down at Fort Myers. And, well, they're close. Trinity Christian against Berkeley Prep. Just looking it up right now, it's 1-0 Trinity in the top of the 7th. They're 2 outs away. Aaron Watson, who most likely will be, a top 50 type of pick in the draft, the right-handed pitcher out of Trinity, he's only thrown 71 pitches. So he's in fantastic shape. He's thrown a 1-hitter. He's already thrown 2 no-hitters this postseason. He's been absolutely dominant, and he looks like he's that way again, but I don't want to jinx him. He's got to get 2 more outs. He's got 7 Ks, given up 1 hit, 1 walk, and no runs, obviously. The 1 run came in the first inning for Trinity Christian, and that's been it. So we'll see if they can hang on. They're 2 outs away, runner on first now for Berkeley Prep. They win that, they go to the state championship game tomorrow. I believe it's at noon, so we'll continue to follow the story of Trinity Christian. All right, do we have Alivia Tassely back in the Action Sports Jacks 24/7 Network studios? I'm not even sure. Oh, there she is.
Here.
I just did that. That was just blind faith that you would be there, Liv.
You can always count on me, Brent.
What's happening?
Not much. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
You good?
No, I can hear you good. Yeah, I got you.
We debated on if you could trust me or not. All right, I see how it is. That's fine.
Yeah,
it's all good.
I trust you, Liv. I trust you. How did yesterday go at Jags OTAs? And you were at Tom Coughlin J Fund on Sunday and Monday. You've been busy back there while
you're keeping me busy these last
out.
2 weeks. I don't mind it. I'm everywhere in the community. Yeah, it was fun. J Fund was really, really fun. Obviously, we'll get to it soon here, but we caught up with Coach, we caught up with Kelly, we caught up with Bill O'Brien, Asher Grodman, who it's a hilarious interview, by the way. I was just rewatching it back to get it to you guys in National Source Sports, which little background talk right there. But I was cracking up and I messaged him and I was just like, I couldn't really hear because the place was so loud. So I couldn't really fully engulf myself in the interview. And watching it back, I was cracking up. So I can I toss to it? Are you good? Do we want to play the Asher Grodman one?
You want to do it right away? Oh, you want to? Let's go. Well, you've set it up. Now you got to deliver. I hope it's as funny as you say it is.
It is. Kim, let me know if you're ready for it. She's ready. Okay. Asher Grodman, Dan Hicken at the J Fund.
Jacksonville Jaguars #1 fan. Asher, how are you?
I'm good. I'm thrilled to be here.
Great to have you here at the J Fund. This is a great event.
It is a great event. I've been telling everyone I've seen. I was here 2 years ago and I wept like a baby. I am prepared for the waterworks tonight.
Yes.
It's a very good cause.
It is. It's such a wonderful cause, but I would be remiss if we didn't talk some football. I got to get your take. I know you're pumped up. I got a whole new regime cooking. I got Travis Hunter here, man. What was your reaction on draft night when you saw all that go down?
I had a little bit of a sense in the hours before that something big was coming.
He's dialed in, folks.
And then the question was, is what I think is going to happen really going to come to fruition? And I was jumping on the couch. I was very, very excited. Yeah. We haven't made a move like that.
Right.
In a very long time. Yeah. Though I will say, I think the most inside baseball move that we made, getting those 2 third-round picks from the Lions, I thought that was especially I loved that.
Look at you.
That was very sparkly for me.
Digging deep. How's the ecosystem at Ghost?
The ecosystem is really good. We have a lot of intangibly rich,
very nice
actors on the show, and they're very versatile. We can play different roles.
Yes.
If I had to, I could put on pants and be Isaac. I've had to on occasion. So. Yeah, there's a lot of firepower up there.
But there is a sense of it's the off season, right? We'll see. And what I like about this group,
off season for the Jaguars or for Ghost?
Jaguars.
Okay.
What I like, I'm sorry, I shifted back. Yeah. That's what I do sometimes without explaining myself.
It's called a pivot.
Yes, but what I like about this group is they keep telling us, look, yeah, we're all excited. But you know what? Nothing matters until Sunday at 1 o'clock, Sunday at 4 o'clock. That's how we get judged. I like that.
I love that. Another thing that I love, just a shift, is we used to talk for years and years and years about stockpiling picks, and now we're using those picks to do things.
Yes.
That's exciting.
Yes.
I also love that the 2 guys that we brought in to help coordinate the passing game, one helped revitalize Geno Smith, one Sam Darnold.
Right.
I like what people are doing with what they have and finding the improvement in their work. That's very exciting. There are things I want to say.
Yeah.
I'm just very glad that we've turned the page.
Yes.
I'm very excited that Tassely is in that building.
What we like is that you represent us on a national basis. We appreciate you. Thank you very much.
I am honored to represent you. When I was here 2 years ago for that dinner, I was running in and out of dinner because we were in the middle of editing the schedule release video.
Oh, yeah.
So I had to excuse myself twice. This year I can just relax. But it's a joy to be here every time, and great to see you.
Thank you.
I've never seen you happier.
Thank you. It's good to be happy.
You're so
I like being happy. Happy Dan is a good Dan. Yes.
Dan is happy.
Thanks, Ash. Appreciate you.
Take care.
Oh, such a fun time.
Yeah, it is good to see. Good to see Hicken happy. He doesn't even know he's just on the Action Sports Jacks 24/7 network. Asher Grodman, star of Ghosts, by the way, which you can watch on CBS 47, and he is a big Jags fan, so that was a lot of fun. Seemed like he had a little inside info, a little intel. He got that on draft day, and he did not want to throw anybody under the bus from last season, although he sounds like he's got some strong feelings about that.
No, good on Asher for not throwing anyone under the bus, and good on his source to keep him in the loop even before all of us. Who knows? Maybe he was in the
very good.
So that was Asher Grodman, really good time. He was also out at Tom Coughlin Golf yesterday, and then we saw him walk in for OTAs. So he's everywhere as well, and now he's on a plane. He missed the segment, but I said I would clip it and send it to him, and we'll collab there on Instagram for that.
Yeah, always good to run into him. It is cool. It is kind of fun to have a guy like that that is a Jags fan, right? That's don't have a lot of those in Jacksonville, so that part is pretty cool. All right, where do you want to go next? You want to get since we're at the J Fund, you want to hear from Tom Coughlin?
Yeah, we got a great conversation with Coach. Always good catching up with Coach. And obviously, he's happier than Dan at this event. And I didn't know if you can get much happier. But Coughlin was really, really excited. 30 years of the Tom Coughlin J Fund. And we actually have the money value. I'll tell you that after we hear from Coach. Yep, we can air it. Toss to it.
Wow. The Tom Coughlin J Fund Gala. It's here again, but this one has a little significance because it's the 30th annual, which means there was a first, which means we got old somewhere along the line, but that's okay.
Not true.
Not true. But congratulations, first off. That's awesome.
That's amazing.
And what you guys have done for the community has just been fantastic through the years and going strong.
You know, it's kind of 1 year at a time, and then all of a sudden somebody says 20, and then all of a sudden it's 30, and you're thinking, oh my goodness, but thank God when you look back, 6,700 families, so $33 million.
Wow.
And it's only because of all the great people that support us in Jacksonville, because they know about the cause. That's all.
Right.
It's the compassion that pours out when you see the families with a child that has cancer. That's the worst. You couldn't have a worse sentence given to you.
Right.
And so I think that's no doubt why.
And you know what's interesting? We've been doing this thing on the radio with these young people because it's been around a long time now. We got some success stories. We got some kids who are getting college scholarships, and they've made it through, and we talked to them about their memories, and you realize that they're okay. It's the parents who went through hell. Yes. I mean, it's the parents who went through, they remember a little bit of this. They're 2 or 3 years old sometimes when they get it. So it's interesting to see that, but it's also rewarding to see, not every kid makes it, but it's rewarding to see those who do.
There's no question.
Yeah.
And what it really does is it shows you the thought that goes into behind the J Fund.
Mm-hmm.
When Judy and I watched Pat and John McGillis and their family go through what they went through with Jay, and then you think to yourself, my God, you see what the parents have to do. They put a happy face on to go in the room, but in reality, the costs, and they leave their jobs, and if there's two people employed, it goes to one. All of that stuff. So the reinforcement is there. We're on all sides of this. We do all kinds of things for the parents, for the men, for the women, for the dads, for the moms, and the patients and the siblings, just to try, because you realize, again, what Kelly is a great listener, and the social workers tell her what they observe and what they see and what they need, and we sort of try to pile in on that, and that's why it's always so close. We always say whatever we make, we're going to spend, and it's close.
I'm glad you mentioned Jay. For those who don't know, Jay McGillis played football for Tom when he was the head coach at Boston College. You saw it firsthand, and you have honored that young man. His legacy will last forever. I know his family is so grateful. They come down every year. It means a lot to them, and I know it means a lot to you, but you saw it firsthand many years ago.
I did, and it made such an impact on Judy and I, because this is how life goes sometimes, Dan. You don't know what direction you're going to go in, and then all of a sudden rough, tough. I mean, these kids are, and they, thank God for the way that they were recruited and the kind of people that they were. I made it hard, and they just came firing back. But when you see something like that happen to a young man, and, I hate to say it, but Jay was maybe 80 pounds at death.
Yeah.
Well, that's what, if I ever get a chance to get back, that's what I'm going to try to have something to do, the practical part of this thing, because Mom and Dad stopped working.
We'll always be grateful for you. I've always told you this. You have 2 Super Bowl, well, you have more than that. You always remind me. We'll have more than 2 Super Bowl rings, Dan.
Get the third.
I know you got the third, but you're the head coach of 2, and your greatest legacy is this thing behind you, the Tom Coughlin J Fund. It's your family's legacy. It's what you guys have done. We thank you from the bottom of our hearts here in Jacksonville. I know you still do have impact up in New York as well. It is football. It is around football. There'll be a lot of football guys here. And here in Jacksonville, just one quick question. We're starting over again. But, there is some optimism, some excitement, which generally there is. Just your overall thoughts about what you've seen. And does Baselli call you late at night when nobody's listening to get tips?
No, Baselli and I, Tony and I, had breakfast together 3 times during the season.
Okay.
And, talked about how things were not going well and so on and so forth, and talked about all kinds of things. But from the time that he took over in this, and let's face it, Shad is very close to Tony. Tony's very close to Shad. It's not surprising that he's involved. I know he loves it.
Right.
I know he loves everything about it, and it's something he always wanted to do. But he doesn't ask me anymore because, like his wife said, he learned from the best.
There we go.
That's what Angie says.
Hey.
Yeah.
God bless you. We appreciate you so very much, Tom Coughlin.
Dan,
Thank you so much.
Oh,
absolutely. It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure. Yeah, it's my man.
Supportive of.
It's the coach, Tom Coughlin. Let's go back to you.
Love it.
Always really cool. Really cool. And Tom, it looks great. Looks fantastic. And hope they had a great couple of days and continue to raise. What is it now? Did he say $33 million overall?
So $33 million
and here in Jacksonville?
Yeah, overall. And on Sunday, $975,000 was raised from the Tom Coughlin dinner. And
come on, Hick.
Crazy.
You couldn't pony up $25,000 to get it to $1 million? Come on, Hicken.
We
Let's
ask
go.
one thing of you, Hicken. Geez. Come on.
Make a donation, Dan.
It's the least. Least.
Media mogul? Really?
Love it for him. Love it.
So anyway, Tom, hey, what's interesting there, okay? Tom Coughlin and the Tony Baselli question is fascinating because I don't think we've really taken a step back and looked at that. But these 2 guys were the first 2 guys in that organization from a football standpoint, and there were some others, by the way, but that people know the faces. Those 2 guys could really, if this goes well for Baselli, could become the architect 30 years later and really put kind of a nice little bow and story on the Tom Coughlin and Tony Baselli lineage, So it's pretty cool. Like the storyline, we all love storylines. I love storylines for doing what we do. But I just think if this works for Baselli specifically, it's going to be pretty cool. The symmetry I think we have with Tom Coughlin and him.
Yeah, and I was just speaking to Elizabeth, who is the coach's assistant. I actually featured her on Jags Social last year, if you want to catch up on that. But I was speaking with her, and she's like, it's so cool to have the quote-unquote firstborn in Tony Baselli being in this role and just seeing it come full circle. And she's like, the passion. And everyone I speak to about Tony Baselli is just like, the passion that this guy has for this job is just unbelievable, incredible. It's probably just as much passion as Tom Coughlin has for the Tom Coughlin J Fund. It's really cool to see.
Yeah, it's pretty good stuff. All right, so let's go switch from that, and maybe we get some Bill O'Brien a little bit later or anything, but I'm tired of seeing Hicken on the show, quite frankly. So let's go and switch and get to your interview with Diami Brown. Because you got a chance to catch up with him. I don't know if there were other folks in on that interview as well, but you were at practice yesterday. And, I think Diami Brown's an interesting piece of the puzzle in Jacksonville. We talked about it earlier. We've been saying it, chess pieces. I feel like he's a chess piece for Liam Cohen's offense. He will go under the radar, by the way, all the way until the season. But he really arrived on the radar last year in the playoffs. This guy does not have an unbelievable resume. He doesn't have these gaudy numbers. Comes over on a 1-year, $10 million deal based off what he did essentially in 3, 4, 5 games down the stretch of the season, Olivia.
Yeah, and James Gladstone even said it after free agency that he sees Dyami Brown as an ascending player, and that's why they really like bringing him into Jax and really pushing that limit for him. Dyami was a really cool interview. He lived up north his whole life, so this is his first time really living and breathing in the Florida humidity and experiencing this summer temperatures, and we talked about it, but it was really, really fun. You can't see now, these lights are so bright. I'm actually slightly sunburnt, so it was a hot one out there, one of the hottest days of the year. I even checked with Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish while I was out there. I was like, is this going to break a record? Is this the hottest day of the year? And he goes, it's probably the second compared to Friday. So yeah, Diami Brown, really, really interesting cat, so to say. Maybe we keep him on the radar for what Jags Report Live down the road. Has a little personality once you get him to open up. Yep.
Oh man, I'm exhausted. But Florida is different. But it feels good to go out here and get some work with the guys and finally getting full speed. And I think I want to stay out here a little bit longer. Just get used to this heat. But man, I'm glad we out here and got football going.
You were part of a culture change up in Washington with the Commanders. You went through this whole process. You guys made it to the playoffs during that change. Do you see similar stuff going on here, or is it different as far as changing a culture?
We have the culture set, and as players, all we have to do is buy into that culture and what we're trying to get to, and we want to make it far. We want to get to the Super Bowl, and that's what we're going to preach. That's our standard, and we're going to hold ourselves to that standard, be accountable, and I was there last year to the point where we set a different standard, but hey, I'm ready to get it going here.
You are in a loaded wide receiver room. You have BTJ. You called him a dog when you first came here. I mean, he reached over 1,000 yards, 10 touchdowns his rookie year. And now they bring in Travis Hunter as well, who is a young pup, but a unicorn in his positions. How are you feeling about this group of guys? What can we expect from you all?
Oh, man, it's crazy because it's like with a receiver group, we all want the ball. We all want to do big things, but, we want to be the group that's talked about, and we wasn't really talked about, previous years or anything like that. But, we want to be that group because we have the guys that can do it. We got that strong arm quarterback back there, who can make things happen. And, we just going to be prepared and compete with each other and be the best out there.
Yeah, you played against Trevor Lawrence once in college. Now he's your quarterback. What's it like?
Oh, man, it's amazing. It's crazy. It's like you would watch somebody across the field, like, man, like, he got a strong arm. He can move with his feet, and he can do a lot, and he's real smart at the same time. And, just to have that on your own sideline, it brings a lot of energy, and we want to feed off of that and just keep going.
So you were really brought in to create space for Brian Thomas Jr. Talk to me about how that connection is going with you guys.
I think for real, we just want to be complimentary to each other. We have a lot of the same aspects. He can take the top off a defense as well. And with us being able to do the same thing, it's basically like pick one. And so we just want to compliment each other and go out there, and make plays.
When you first spoke to the media, you said this is a prove-it year for me. I'm betting on myself. I'm not betting on anyone else. Do you set a wager for yourself when you bet on yourself?
No, not really. I just challenge myself just to be me and get 1% better every single day. Because at the end of the day, nothing is given. So I just want to keep proving to myself, keep working on the fundamentals and keep going.
All right, you haven't played international before, right? Now coming to the Jags go to London. How excited are you about that, and what are you looking for?
Man, I ain't gonna lie to you. I'm not too excited because I don't like the long flights, man. Over 5 hours, that's a little bit too long for me. But I am kind of excited. I've never been to London before. That would be like my third time out of the country. But yeah, I'm just excited to go out there and play.
Perfect. All right. We have a few camp days left, and you guys get a nice summer break. What are the fun plans coming up?
No fun plans. I got to get used to this heat out here. That's it. I just want to come out here and work.
You're not even going to go fishing with no fishing?
I'm not. Fishing is boring to me. Yeah, that's not me. I'll probably go bowl or something like that, but no fishing.
So inside activities?
Yeah, inside activities.
Inside activities, but he's going to go bowling. Or out. He wants to get used to this summer heat, but he's going to go bowling. That's how we're going to get used to this summer heat.
Hey, he was good. Liv, you're right.
Yeah.
That's a good scouting on Diami Brown there for potential Jags Report Live. Jaguars All Access might be working on those schedules pretty soon here and put him on the list. And I do think it's going to be a fascinating role for him. He remember Tony Baselli on draft day. It was like, hey, Brent, we love Diami Brown now. I mean, this guy now, there was a little bit of a, hey, we also know we're picking Travis Hunter when I mentioned I think they had a hole at the number 2 receiver. But definitely now then with Gabe Davis gone too, I mean, it's these 3 guys. And the chess piece is big, the ability to take the top off, what they can do, the speed that these guys bring. I think everybody's going to talk about Travis Hunter and Brian Thomas Jr. as they should. But Diami Brown will be a very interesting deal here. Keep in mind, the last time somebody came into Jacksonville, and I think this is the last time, it wasn't that long ago, probably the only time in recent memory, somebody comes into Jacksonville, bets on themselves, that was Evan Ingram. And he turned in a heck of a year and ended
got the
up
contract
getting a
extension.
Deal.
Yep.
Is that what Diami Brown's about to do? There it is. There's the Diami Brown interview with Alivia Tassely, and a lot more still to get to here on the show. I think we even have Liv's list a little bit, and I think we also have Austin Lane down in South Florida. I don't know if
Austin
Kim can. I mean, he's doing some. I'm watching him like get ready, and he's playing with a pen right now and trying to do some funky thing. Maybe he can show and tell this once we get him with Kim. Kim, you just give us a heads up. We can give you a few minutes on.
I'm keeping your seat warm, Austin. All right. Well, if we do live, I hear him, just don't see him.
Oh yeah, you can hear him.
I can hear him.
We'll see him. If we can hear him, that's good enough for now. Don't worry. We'll get the rest of him. He looks good. Looks fantastic. Looks like he survived the workout. Work up. I'm looking a little closer. Yeah, well, you got a little shiner, not a big one. You doing all right?
Yeah, man, I'm doing great. It's not even really a shiner. I collided heads with another dude, so that happens sometimes. So the right eye is a little swollen, but all good, man.
Yeah, you've looked worse on the show before. Hey, just to give you an update, in the last hour, we had Steve Blake on. He's the director of agronomy here at Cabot Citrus Farms, and we were talking just playing in the dirt and building golf courses. He's a Wisconsin guy. Grew up just outside of Green Bay, about a half hour from Iola, so you guys would have had a ton of common.
Dang, man, I missed out. Yeah, did he say like what small community outside of Green Bay he's from, Brent?
He probably did, but I don't think I heard it. Sorry.
No, you're all good, man. I just want to know if I ever partied, because I mean I've been to like there's Arrowhead over there, there's Green Bay Preble, there's Assumption, so I've been to a few spots over there in Green Bay. All right,
hey, Liv. First, before we get to Liv and Liv's list, what are you? For two things. What are you doing with the pen? What is this trick?
Oh yeah, man. Because one day if I ever become a commentator, I have to do my pen trick. So I was doing the Pat McAfee pen trick.
Oh, he does that? I didn't know.
Yeah.
I've never seen that.
He does it when he's calling raw. I can't really do it that well. Yeah, I'm learning, but it's like he goes, yeah, put it with your hands. You got to go here, and boom, you catch it, and then bring it back.
Okay. Did you look like you just did it?
Yeah, I just did it. I mean, it's
you just gotta make it smoother.
I'm not consistent with it yet.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, Liv.
It got to be smoother.
You
it's a little clunky right now.
Be a magician by the end of this.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. Hey, man, it's my first day doing it. Cut me a little slack. I mean, Brent,
it looks great.
You're not doing pen tricks when you're calling UNF?
This is crazy. Like I'm very complimentary of you. I thought that was very good, Austin. Liv's very critical here of you.
I know he can do better. That's why. I'm just saying. I know he can do better. See, like that. That was it.
There we go.
Just keep doing that.
That was a little more.
That was smooth.
I got it.
That was good. That was good.
Hey, before we get to Liv's list, Austin, I think you caught the tail end of Diami Brown.
Okay.
I really do think he's a fascinating piece, right? He looks the part. He came on strong. What do you see him in this offense that we're all learning about? But what should be our expectations for this guy from I don't know if you want to put numbers on him from a fantasy perspective, the impact of the offense? Like, how do you look at him as a one-year, $10 million guy?
It's wild, Brent, because he's obviously lost in the sauce right now compared to Brian Thomas Jr. and Travis Hunter. But I think he was brought there for a reason. And when we talked to Tony Baselli before the draft, I mean, Tony Baselli was super high on this guy, saying like, they like what he brings to the table. I can see him in a role almost like, like when you look at the Buffalo Bills, and granted, like it's a different situation there, right? They have an MVP type guy in Josh Allen, and the receiving core, it was kind of just a bunch of, unproven names. But like, if you look at a guy like Khalil Shakir, who really kind of like came into his own in Buffalo and kind of was like that piece when they needed that piece. I can see Brown kind of being that guy. Not saying he has the same skill set as Shakir, but I just think of when teams are going to be focusing on Brian Thomas Jr., when teams are going to be focusing a lot on Travis Hunter, at least we hope they are, like Brown's going to be the guy I feel like that can go under the radar a little bit, that can make big plays.
Do you think he can? Like I brought up the Evan Ingram part, right? Where Evan Ingram bet on himself, turns it into a contract. Now they're like Jags needed the tight end. Jags have a couple of receivers here. I mean, could this be a long-term play in Jacksonville? I mean, when I say long-term, could he end up getting a new deal after this year if things go well? And now you've got this trio of receivers for at least the next few years.
Yeah, I mean, if he fits the role, like, do I expect him to have fantasy numbers like Brian Thomas Jr. or Travis Hunter? Probably not, right? But if he can solidify himself as that third wide receiver and prove that he belongs, then why not offer him a new contract, So, yeah, I think he has a lot to play for this year, and that's the thing. You like guys that want to bet on themselves, right? Like I think Evan Ingram a little bit bet on himself here in Jacksonville. Josh Hines Allen in the past has bet on himself, but it's worked out well. So, yeah, I think if he's going to bet on himself and do great, it's not going to break the bank if they give him a new contract.
Just a quick update here before we get back to Liv. Here for your Khalil Shakir kind of role. I know it's not exactly the same, so I don't want to put words in your mouth, but let's just see from a numbers standpoint. The last 2 years, he's really been used. He's the third year in Buffalo now. He's played 17 games in 2023, started 10 of them, had 39 catches for 611 and 2 touchdowns. So obviously 15.7 yards per catch, very good. Last year, much more involved. Obviously, they get he gets a higher role in that offense because of some of their attrition. He has 76 receptions, 821, just for 10.8 yards a catch and 4 touchdowns. So, I mean, 600, 800 yards, like that's, I would say the first one, by the way, 40 catches, 600 yards, and maybe tick up the touchdowns a little bit. Would that be a pretty good season for Dyami Brown?
Yeah, I think a lot of Jaguars fans would take those numbers right there, Brent, because once again, we don't need him to be the guy. If he's your leading reception getter, if he's your leading scorer, with all due respect to him, I think then there's something probably wrong.
Yeah. Okay, Liv, let's bring you back in. Liv's list presented by Everything. Liv.
Everything.
Bozard, Ford, Lincoln.
Ponte Vedra Vein and Aesthetics.
Credit Union.
First Florida Credit Union.
Aesthetics.
Stack them up.
You're like NASCAR.
Stack them up.
Yeah, you're like a NASCAR driver right now.
Okay,
Liv.
wait. Do I have to get like a jumpsuit and put all my deals on there?
You can if you want.
I think so. What a better way to...
I'm not buying that for you.
I'll do it.
Showcase it, Liv. You got to.
I'll get it. Yeah. I'll come in full send.
All right.
That'll be my project when I'm on vacation next week. All right, Liv's list. So we'll stick with the...
You're on vacation?
Yeah, Brent, you approved this.
Oh.
Whose birthday is it, Liv?
So my best friend's husband, actually.
Drop it, dang it.
I'm telling you, man, some of the polls you have are just like unbelievable. I didn't even know that was a you thing, also. Like, I didn't know you knew about all the birthdays. I thought that might have been just an internal in the TV office thing about living or birthdays and weddings.
Brent.
Oh, yeah. We know how obsessed my friends and I are about our birthdays. Actually, I'm off next week mostly because of family is in town, but they're coming in town because I'm going to Amelia Island for my friend's birthday. We have a villa at the Omni, so super bougie right there. We're going to, yeah, I know. And he's bought everything. And he's like, this is what we're doing. And I was like, I can't believe you bought everything for your birthday. Can I at least get you a gift? So yeah, we're going there for the weekend. And my family's coming in town to watch Aspen, and they usually stay a week. So we'll be doing that. And we'll be going to our first jumbo shrimp game for my mom and my stepdad. So that'll be fun.
Good. You gotta go check out the shrimp boats or something out there. Like, go get a different seat or the right field seats. You got to take them to. You got to elevate this thing a little bit.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I might have to text Scott and ask the best place to sit for mom and stepdad. Like, I like the outfield and the AC option as well because it's going to be hot this week, I think. So maybe we go over there, try out the shrimp boats a little bit. Yeah, we'll explore. We will explore.
Yeah,
All right.
Well, you're, with your NASCAR jacket, you should be able to afford the home plate seats and get the club area.
Maybe. You know what? I'll hook that one right up. All right. I'm going to stick with golf since you are at a golf facility over there. Scotty Scheffler obviously won the PGA Championship, right? Don't worry. I'll get to Austin's
obviously
soon. Don't worry. Scotty won the PGA Championship, stole the show, but I think it's his son that really takes this one because he stood up for the very first time at the PGA Championship as I don't know how old he is, but Kim, do you have the video of little Bennett standing for the very first time with his mom on the greens inside? There he goes. Look at him go. This is all over social media all of a sudden. Standing up for what a great story to say I stood up at the PGA Championship that my dad won, by the way.
Great reaction. That's good reaction. That's good stuff.
Super cute. Had to start it with a wholesome moment. And then, of course, this picture was taken. Scotty takes him everywhere after a tournament because he did this too with the players. Remember when I think you were next to me, Brent, and he put Bennett on the ground next to him as he was talking to the media? I don't know if maybe you weren't with me, but
I think so.
Yeah, he was just sitting there. He put his little credential over him, and Bennett was busy with the credential for like the 15 minutes that Scotty spoke. So yeah, little cool moment there.
Austin brings up a good point. Did he have the proper attire on, right, Austin? I mean, I didn't see a collared shirt on the kid.
Didn't see a collared shirt. Wasn't wearing shoes.
You're right. No
I
pants.
Understand it's not the Masters, but it's still the PGA Championship. Like, let's have a little class here.
I mean, there are plenty of guys that wear diapers on a golf course. So they're usually just a little bit older.
Oh dear.
By the way, one like, hello, welcome to this kind of world now. Thought, like, I bet we all wished we had our kids standing up for the first time or taking our first step, like on video, right? Like it's almost like impossible to capture. Mm-hmm. Meanwhile, you're like Scotty Scheffler, and there's 5 million cameras on every single thing that's a part of your life, and this was like one where it's like, oh, that's awesome. They got the moment, even if you didn't see it. Like, that was pretty cool.
Someone else got the moment, not even mom or dad. It was like a cameraman or a fan that got the moment. So shout out to them for capturing that.
Now, if I'm that cameraman or if I'm that fan, I'm charging like it's like a home run ball. You know what I'm saying? Like, Scotty, I got the video here. It's going to cost you a little bit, though, or else I'm going to keep it.
That's at least worth a one-on-one, right? Like, or something from CBS somewhere in there along the way. All right, good stuff. What else you got, Liv?
All right, so this one will be for Austin. Austin, are you a Jurassic Park fan? Okay, you. Maybe
I was. Yeah,
you were. Did it? Are you over
kind
it?
Of, like the last one. It's too many. You know what I'm saying, Liv? But like, I'm still intrigued. Go ahead.
They're getting into the realm of Fast and Furious. So, Jurassic World Rebirth is coming. Oh, we just Austin was laughing so hard he knocked the camera over. It's fine.
That was good.
So Jurassic World Rebirth is coming out in July 2nd, I believe. And the latest trailer just came out, and I'm not going to have Kim pull it up because I don't know if we're allowed to air it or anything like we did, I think, Mission Impossible trailer. But anyway, gotta go watch it. Looks great, of course. It's a trailer. It's a whole new cast. And it's set 5 years after the last Jurassic one. I don't know how I feel about it. I want to get your opinion on a whole new cast.
So, yeah, by my understanding, Liv, and Brent, don't worry, I'll just take over from here. Yeah. From my understanding, I think they're going back to the island to try to get DNA because, once again, they're trying to make dinosaurs. I feel like, Liv, and you alluded to this, it's like Fast and the Furious. We're on like the 10th or 11th Jurassic Park movie, or Jurassic World now it's called. At what point are we going to learn the lesson and be like, hey, maybe don't clone dinosaurs, maybe don't bring back dinosaurs because, you know, people have been kind
eaten alive, you know, hurt physically.
Eaten alive, swallowed whole.
You'd think we learned that, 20 years ago. When did the first Jurassic Park come out? I mean, you thought we would have learned, but here we are. 2 decades later.
I was in like
still doing it.
3rd or 4th grade. Yeah, and I remember like all the marketing and everything. You go like to McDonald's and get like like the cups, the Jurassic Park cups.
Oh yeah.
For kindergarten, I had a Jurassic Park backpack. I mean, it was really kind of like my first taste of like, and I say now because I'm older, but like a scary movie when I was a child. Like this thing is like.
Do you
it was a
think?
little scary for me.
Do you think Jurassic Park, I mean, okay, so there's a difference. Jaws, there's actually sharks on this planet. Do you think like Jurassic Park had a similar feel to people where they were like, this could actually happen? Like, were people all of a sudden scared? I don't know. I mean, I was too young when it came out, so I don't even know if I was alive, to be honest. But
yeah,
you know how like
I'm gonna be honest, Liv, like growing up in the country, with like 400 acres of timber. I never once was like scared, like going through my grandpa's woods, like, oh, I hope I don't see a velociraptor or like a T-Rex. But I will say, like, I could be at a kid's pool party, like a birthday party at a pool party, and I still had Jaws vibes. Like, I'll be in a pool, be like, man, I hope Jaws doesn't get me. Oh, yeah.
No way.
Next time you're in the water, yeah.
Oh, what a time!
Yeah,
I'm still
definitely.
trying to
By the
watch
way,
Meg 2.
You're not missing much.
Oh.
There's a way bigger chance that the Jurassic Park now puts those uneasy feelings on people, except because of all the things that potentially are flying around now versus 30 years ago. So, like, I feel like that's ramped up way more in the last 30 years. So, I don't know about those dinosaurs that like are literally roaming around the woods, but the ones flying around, there might be something to that.
You never know.
Yeah. I remember as a kid too, I used to always like, like when you see something in a movie or like now it's like a YouTube video and like you kind of like regurgitate it to make you sound smart. Well, like the whole thing was like, birds are actually dinosaurs. I use that around so many teachers, but I'm like, I'll never get it right. I'll be like, yeah, so like the T-Rex actually, like it is kind of like a bird as well, and birds evolved there. And the teacher wanted to go like, well, how does that work? I go, oh, I don't know.
I couldn't tell you.
I know that they used to be dinosaurs. Yeah. Look it up.
Here's one of the
research.
One other thing about dinosaurs, right? Like, and all that stuff. Like, this is prehistoric, so they had like first dibs at a lot of this, like vocabulary, vernacular.
Okay.
So why the hell did they make it so difficult? They could have used dog, cat, mouse, and all those other things way earlier.
Yeah,
like, why are these things have all these names that you can't pronounce?
Is it Latin? Are we going Latin here with these dinosaur names, Brent? Is that why?
Yeah,
No,
I don't know, but they're hard to pronounce. I know that.
Yeah.
They are. The Stegosaurus, imagine
all these Oruses.
Yeah,
and,
the T-Rex.
Yeah.
I mean, imagine like saying, oh, my Tyrannosaurus Rex is coming in and Aspen walks in, like, because dog was already taken by a T-Rex, Like if dog and T-Rex had swapped names and we went with Brent's theory on this thing, I like it.
Yeah, it kind of works out if you got like a pit bull or something like that. It kind of feels like
a Great Dane.
Well, what I'm really curious about with the Tyrannosaurus Rex is like, do you think it was really like the king of the dinosaur world? Like, because like in Jurassic Park, I felt like put the Tyrannosaurus Rex on the map, where it was the apex predator with its little short Aaron Donald arms. But do you actually think it was really like the apex predator, or was it like just like getting made fun of in like dinosaur circles? Like, look at this little stubby armed little mutant coming around here.
I've never thought about that.
Yeah.
I've never thought about that. Like, this is the first time in my 48 years of life that I'm actually thinking about this question.
You don't think like the massive jaws and feet were enough? I don't know. Imagine if that thing had long arms.
I see those tiny little arms coming. You think I'm
not intimidated? Close your mouth. I'm not intimidated anymore. Like, yeah.
No.
He doesn't need to reach if he has that big old head.
I mean, that's true, but I just see I can see a bunch of triceratops because they always, hung out in groups. I can see a bunch of triceratops that's just making fun of them the entire time.
Things I didn't see where this show was going today, talking dinosaurs. Like, I just didn't see it. Like, I didn't, that hit me from left field.
I kind of like
what's
it.
up? Well, have you got anything else?
All right, one more because I think Kim just found it. We are still awaiting, going back to football, we are still awaiting Aaron Rodgers' decision. Are you going to retire? Are you going to go to the Steelers? What is going on with you? Please just let us know. At this point, I'm not going to lie, I'm kind of irritated with Aaron. But it seems like he's enjoying the off season or retirement life without fully saying retirement life because he was seen at a concert with a squirt gun. I mean, okay, maybe squirt gun that thing's massive, but a water gun, water torpedo, whatever you want to call this thing, just hanging out, having a grand old time, which is great for him. Yeah. But what are we doing?
Do we know where's do you know?
I don't know the place, and I tried listening to the concert, and I couldn't really hear. It sounds like a country concert. And I was like, oh, maybe it's like a Morgan Wallen, but this doesn't look like, it looks too small to be a Morgan Wallen concert. Like, it looks more like an outdoor venue. So maybe it's just a friend of his. I can't recognize this person. So if you know,
I don't recognize
let us know.
either.
And Brent's our country guy, so. But yeah, Aaron just having a grand old time.
I don't know. We were just talking about this. Is he going to play? He's going to play, right, Austin? Like, I think he's going to play, and he's going to join the Pittsburgh. The Pittsburgh Steelers have no choice. They have to lure him to play. Can you imagine if they don't get him and they lose George Pickens? I think this is just like, hey, we're going to wait out like the spring part, and this is kind of like your veteran saying, hey, I'm going to come in August. But I think I'm wondering if by minicamp, the mandatory minicamp part, he's a part of their team. Now, I don't know what that does to put him behind the 8 ball and everything else, but they might have a handshake agreement right now where he's already got the playbook and just hasn't signed, and it's like leaning that way. I would think that would get out by now, but it hasn't. So I just don't know. I mean, Pittsburgh's going to look really bad in this whole deal if they don't get Aaron Rodgers, and I guess that's why I think they're going to get Aaron Rodgers and he's going to play.
Yeah, you're not wrong, Brent. It seems like this entire offseason and how they handle the draft, like they are pot committed to getting Aaron Rodgers. And when you think of the Steelers, you always think of an organization that's done things, the proper way, the professional way. There's been a lot of respect, I feel like, for the Steelers. Okay, so, you cut George Pickens or you trade George Pickens. Didn't work out there. We've seen that before. We've seen it with Le'Veon Bell. We've seen it with Antonio Brown. So, that's nothing really new. But this whole thing of being absolutely pot committed to a quarterback that you're not even quite sure if he's going to go there, this is new. And maybe he does have the playbook, Brent, but I think you're shooting yourselves in the foot a little bit if his teammates don't know, right? Because it's not like, and this reminds me kind of like the whole Brett Favre thing back in the day, where he would just skip training camp for Green Bay and just kind of come and show up, when the season started, and obviously it was fine. He earned that. He had the skill, but this is a new team. This is a new city. This is a new dynamic, and I just feel like the more that you're on the sidelines contemplating should I come or not, I just think you're doing your future teammates a disservice. So hopefully they make a decision soon, and whether that decision's that he goes or not, just have something in stone. So if I'm his teammate or I'm not his teammate, at least I know.
Yeah, it's a good call. I just don't know where it's going to land. It's kind of fascinating to watch this. Brent Martineau, Austin Lane, Alivia Tassely, Kim's Corner with us on the Brent Austen Show on the Action Sports Jacks 24/7 Network. We got you covered all over the place, from here in Brooksville at Cabot Citrus Farms to South Florida, where Austin is training for his next UFC fight, and back in Jacksonville. And speaking of back in Jacksonville, Liv, before we let you go, thanks for Liv's List, presented by Ponte Vedra Vein and Aesthetics, Bozard Ford Lincoln, and also First Florida Credit Union. I got them all in, Liv. Sorry.
There you go.
I've got a lot of these to remember, and I got yours. I'm pretty impressed with that. You've also you're helping put on a party tonight out there at St. John's Country Day. They got their award show with John Scromolo, and that will be fun.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. My first time hosting an award show or emceeing an award show. So I'm going to leave here around 4 o'clock and head down there to a little VIP party and walk through of what exactly I'm supposed to do. But there's going to be lights, cameras, carpets, all of it, all the juice. So I'm looking forward to it and celebrating these athletes tonight.
Yeah, Liv's not going to miss a VIP now, Austin.
No, I will not. Lured me in. That was the first thing he said to me, was like, hey, listen, we have a VIP event that you can come to, and as well as hosting this MC event. I was like, oh, sold. Sign me up.
Liv, how take us behind the scenes a little bit. Like, how long has the fit been prepared, or are you just going to go? Do you have the fit prepared?
Gosh!
I assume you have the fit prepared.
Okay,
oh, boy.
So
here we go.
I was hoping I had a dress picked out, but I was like, I don't know if this is a little too much for a high school event. I want to be modest. So I went with a go-to that I borrow from my best friend Carly, but I have my sparkly blue boots that I'm gonna pizzazz it up with for St. John's Country Day. Of course, their colors are blue, so it'll be very, very fitting for tonight. So black dress, blue sparkly boots, and we're gonna call it a day. It's all about the kids tonight, not about my fit. So we'll put the spotlight on them. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
South Beach Liv can stay in South Beach. You have to keep it a little more classy tonight. I like
yes.
it.
Don't worry.
Very good. Hey, Liv, you and I.
I'm wearing the dress, by the way, that I was. Yeah. What? We're alike.
You're very look. I got my Dream 18 on, and I'm at a golf course. See, I think about that stuff too.
All the time.
Do you have any friends that you can share clothes with in case you have a gala event? Because I have nothing.
No.
What I have is what I have.
Yeah, that's a good point. I don't have that. I don't even know who I'd call for that.
Yeah.
In fact, I'm getting to the point where Ty's big enough that we could share clothes if need be, but I don't really want to borrow any of the stuff he does, and he probably don't want to borrow the stuff I have other than maybe a golf shirt.
No.
Yeah, man. I'm going to have to call
Probably
Josh Hines Allen or something on Twitter. Be like, hey, dude, I got an important event coming up. What do you got for me?
You know what's funny is I actually, speaking of Brent and his son were sharing clothes, my mom gave me a couple of her old Levi jeans and shorts, and I fit them now. And it's wild. She's like, I wore these when I was 30 and they're back in style. And I'm like, free Levi's, let's go. Thanks, Mom. So shout out to Mom for that one.
Acid wash white?
Yeah.
Are they the white ones?
Yeah, they're like the light denim colored. Yeah, go Mom.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
So light denim is back in style. Is that what I should know from this conversation?
Brent, it's back, man. You remember if you ever saw a teacher out in public that you went to high school with and all of a sudden they're at a bar or something, they're partying? That's what they'd be wearing. Be like, oh, they actually wear normal people clothes as well.
That's awesome. It's a great visual, by the way, and I just identified 5 teachers in my mind.
Wasn't that the weirdest seeing your teachers out in public, living their normal lives?
It is. Hey, I'll give you one even worse. Is the one that people know the teachers that used to teach us and tell us the stories about those teachers, and you're like, no way.
Right.
We're to that stage in life, holy cow, really? That was a thing. I didn't pick up on that.
We've entered that level. You know what else? Talking about trending fashion topics real quick. My friends sent me something. I don't have a TikTok, so they have to keep me updated on what's going on TikTok. Some girl said flip-flops are coming back in style. And first and foremost, I didn't know they were out of style. Maybe she lives in
Very true.
Yeah. Maybe they cannot live in Florida, because if you live in Florida, you have flip-flops. But then I went to my closet and realized I don't have flip-flops. I just have sandals. So I'm going to go buy flip-flops real quick. But I thought that was wild that flip-flops went out of style.
Liv, let's go to the fashion corner real quick. Guys in flip-flops, yay or nay? And guys wearing socks and flip-flops, yay or nay?
Okay, the socks and flip-flops is a no. How uncomfortable is that?
It's not the most, but it's comfortable. It's more comfortable than wearing shoes, I guess. I don't know.
Socks and flip-flops, the in between your toes, that seems very thick. I don't really know if I like that.
Liv, that was the outfit for 3 of my summers in high school, going to basketball
really?
camps and stuff. That's what you wear.
Oh, basketball camp, because you take the flip-flops off and you put your sneakers on. So I see it.
Talking.
But yeah,
what are those more slides? What they call slides without the actual indentation in the toe? Because if so, then we could come up with another genius idea, and we could make indented socks for flip-flops.
You know what? I like this one better than the egg drive-through. I'm not going to lie, Brent.
Wouldn't those just be toe socks? Don't they have a toe sock for that? Yeah, Kim says they have toe socks.
Yeah, I guess they do have toe socks, huh?
I've never heard of those.
Yeah, they do have toe socks.
They have toe socks, but so the toe socks does all the toes. Is there one with just the big toe is the question, because then you could have something.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, there we go. We're going to work on that. Just a little tangent from... Hey, Liv's list, by the way, who saw it coming? We talked dinosaurs, flip-flops, denim jeans, Aaron Rodgers, and somehow it all fits together in a weird way, especially Aaron Rodgers.
That's what I'm here for.
And all of this. All right, Liv, go have fun tonight. By the way, quick update. Trinity Christian has won the state semifinal game, 1-0. Aaron Watson gets it done again. Jordan Martinez a base hit to score the only run of the game in the first inning. So they advance to the state championship game tomorrow. Jacksonville University has beaten North Alabama. They advance to play either UNF or Austin Peay in the A-Sun tomorrow. UNF still has to play against the top seed Austin Peay today. So a couple of scores to pass along as we're keeping an eye on those. And Liv, have fun tonight. Thanks for stopping in. When we come back at the Brent Austen Show at Cabot Citrus Farms in South Florida, back to Jacksonville, talk a little bit more football before we put a bow on the show at 1 o'clock today.
Yeah, Ash.
When it's time to get a new car for anyone in your family, just remember, nobody but Nimnick, the #1 Buick GMC dealer in Jacksonville. Get the latest price breaks on 2023 and 2024 models or the newest 2025 vehicles in the showroom on Phillips Highway or shop online at NimnickBuickGMC.com 24 hours a day. GMC Sierras, Yukons, and the redesigned Acadias, or get the all-new redesigned line with Buicks. It's nobody but Nimnick, and part of the reason why is this is a first-class buying experience here at Nimnick Buick GMC. You're not just a customer, you're a friend. This is about getting a vehicle that best fits you and getting you on the road, and also helping you and your family down the road. Nimnick has a treating you right guarantee, courtesy, respect, fairness, and most Buicks, GMCs, and Jacksonville's only Car Bravo dealer, nobody but Nimnick. Who has put in the most years and stands behind a better experience? Nobody but Nimnick. GMC. We are professional grade.
If you look good, you feel good. And the medical professionals here at Ponte Vedra Vein and Aesthetics are here to make you feel your best. I'm on camera every week, and I have a confession to make. I'm not always confident in my appearance. Can you see my dark circles? Is my makeup highlighting my fine lines instead of covering them up? I question it all. So when I found out about the wide variety of procedures here at Ponte Vedra Vein and Aesthetics, I knew help was just one appointment away. Medical Director Dr. Megan Deacon Casey and her board-certified physicians have been using the latest in cutting-edge technology for the last 10 years, giving men and women their personal confidence boost. From Botox, fillers, Morpheus 8, and so much more. The hardest part was figuring out what I needed. Thankfully, the medical team walked me through what would work best for me through a free consultation. Come look and feel your best with the team here at Ponte Vedra Vein and Aesthetics. Visit them at one of their 2 locations, either over in Ponte Vedra or on the south side.
I've been telling you about CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing for a long time now. Their drinking water systems remove up to 99% of contaminants. We've had a Connecticut water softener and drinking water system in our home for more than 7 years. You can see the difference whether you're washing clothes, the dishes, or what I like to do most, fill this up for some coffee every morning, and mostly all day. Remember, if you're not filtering your water, you are the filter. Don't be the filter. Right now, you can get a free Connecticut reverse osmosis system with a purchase of a Connecticut Premier Softener. The experts at CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing will test your water for free and determine your water score. Don't know your water score? CGC will find out and recommend the appropriate Connecticut water treatment solutions so you can improve it. Call 904-552-1242 or visit cgcwater.com. Ask about our 90-day love it or leave it guarantee. CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing, an authorized independent Connecticut dealer. Florida license number CFC 1432579.
Empower a future, inspire a dream. It's a bold but simple mission for the Jacksonville Police Athletic League known as Jax PAL. Help the next generation of kids in Jacksonville shape a brighter future. Their after-school programs, teenage leadership programs. There's community outreach.
This has been just an awesome opportunity to be out here with my colleagues and do something good for the community. It's really been an interesting opportunity to just see everybody work together in a way that we don't normally in the office.
And there's sports. There are also ways you can help the next generation with a donation of any kind. Just visit jaxpal.org to get more information. Empower a future, inspire a dream with Jax PAL.
Most of us know how to throw. but you need to know what to throw. I'm not talking about footballs, baseballs, softballs. We're talking about those items you need to recycle. Republic Services explains it easy. Recycling simplified. 1. Know what to throw. When in doubt, throw it out. 2. Empty, clean, and dry those materials. It takes an extra minute, but it makes a big difference. And 3. Don't bag it. This makes the recycling process faster and more efficient. This is a look at the Republic Services North Florida Recycling Center. You can make this process even more efficient. By utilizing those 3 steps, Republic Services can help you become a better recycler in your home. Learn more at recyclingsimplified.com.
Welcome back to the Brent and Austen Show, streaming on the Action Sports Jax 24/7 network.
Hey, welcome back and taking a look at Jags OTAs. Yesterday is what we got. A little bit of video, a little bit of dancing, a little bit of fun. He's always doing something out there, Travis Hunter. And that's part of the juice and everything that everybody's been talking about. And it'll be fun to watch this evolution of that young man. You see Travis Etienne in the foreground. It's Brian Thomas Jr., Dyami Brown we talked about today. Hey, and just a real quick thought here, because I feel like we're talking about this a lot, and this does look different, Austin. Like we've seen guys dance and have fun on a practice field before. Okay, that's not the most unique thing ever, but it does feel like either our cameras are really focused on it and trying to find that, or he's doing it quite a bit, right? And here's another guy that seems to bring the juice in Liam Coen. But I want to ask you, when you think about your college days, or probably more specifically your NFL days, I mean, was there a guy that's just like, man, this guy's kind of fun. This guy's you like to be around him. There's something contagious about him. And by the way, I will say this, and I know you're not going to pick it, but like you might have been a little bit of that. I know you were kind of locked in and serious and fighting everybody on the practice field. Yeah. But I kind of get the sense like you might have been a little bit of that in the cold tub, you know, the weight room, the meeting room, the whatever. Yeah. I guess, were you a little bit of that guy?
Yeah, I think I was a little bit of that guy, but I was more of a product of my environment. And like, if you look at our defensive line room that I came up in, when you got guys like Terrence Knighton, who I feel like was the guy that was going to kind of bring humor. Jeremy Mincy was another guy who, you know, liked to joke around and have fun. And you have to have some of that, Brent. Like, listen, especially when you talk about the dog days of camp, and I get like now it's changed a little bit. It's not, you know, 2-a-days and it's not padded practices back-to-back days, but it's still grueling. Like, make no mistake about it. And when you have those days, you got to keep it a little lighthearted. You got to find things to kind of get your mind off it a little bit, because you're in that together, right? Like, it's one thing if you feel like you have to go through camp all by yourself. That can be a strenuous thing. But when you know you got, you know, whatever, 89 other guys that are going through it with you, that can take some of that burden off a little bit. So I've definitely shared the locker rooms with guys that like to have fun and like to joke around. I mean, one that comes out to me is Clint Sessions, who was a safety. Oh yeah. I think he's a linebacker. Linebacker. Yeah, linebacker. Yeah. Called him Hit Stick. And dude, I mean, he would joke around, and like, you know, when Coach Del Rio would call him up, like, hey, what's going on here, Curtis? He'd be like, yeah, that's a hit stick. You know, that's all I ever said was hit stick. But he had the talent to back it up, because that guy played with reckless abandon. Like, every single play, he played it like it was his last one. Like, you literally just sacrificed his entire body to go in there and you know, try to deliver a crushing blow. And truth be told, unfortunately, it's probably what got him out of the league a little sooner, just with injuries and everything, because that guy only knew how to hit and play one way. And I think we talk about Travis Hunter, like, yeah, you know, you're a rookie, you got to earn your stripes and everything. But what it's going to come down to, Brent, is can his performance on the field back up what he does in terms of dancing and having fun and everything? And if it does, then you have no issues. The issue comes sometimes when you don't have the performances to back it up on the field and you're still doing the dancing and everything, because then players are going to be like, all right, man, it might be a little much. But listen, we're a long ways away from seeing what he can actually do on the field in meaningful games. But that's the road you can actually go down if he doesn't back it up.
Well, think about this now. If that, like exactly what you said is so true, Eric Armstead, for example, I think he could have been a really good leader for this football team last year. And maybe in some respects he was. You have people talk about him, like Mason Smith will say stuff and all these things. So internally, but I don't think you felt it externally. And I think he could really do that and be that. But when you're not playing great and you're sometimes not playing and you don't really know what your role is, especially coming into a new place, very difficult thing to do. Go all the way back to the guy that you really admire in Aaron Campman. We used to talk about it with him. It looked like he was off to a great start with that. They needed a guy like that at the time. You guys did. It was perfect. He's so good in so many different ways, but I think he got banged up and was out. And then when you're banged up and out, how much can you lead, right? So I think you're absolutely right about that part. You have these traits, but the traits, you got to be available to deliver on those things, and then you also have to perform. And Trevor has said this many times, it's hard to lead. If you're not playing well, it's hard to lead if you're not out there, and everybody will say it. So you got to keep those kind of guys healthy so they can contribute the way you want them to, and then they've got to also play well enough to be able to contribute that way too. Hey, a couple quick notes to get in here. That I wanted to really just one. The Boogie Fland decision has been made. He committed to Florida. We've been watching that last couple of days. So for the basketball program, I'm telling you, like, we don't talk about Florida hoops a lot, but they have continued the momentum of this national championship. So pretty interesting to see what they are building there. And they do land that top recruit and a guy that I think that's what Todd Golden was referencing could help put you over the top. Now we'll see if that can be done for a second year in a row. And you start to wonder now if he does this and he's figured out this day and age, are they now a perennial team at Florida, much like they were with Billy Donovan? So that's something to keep an eye on. Let's do a quick little Into the Archives presented by Republic Services, RecyclingSimplified.com, by the way, how you can recycle better at your home and in your business. Make it more efficient. Go to RecyclingSimplified.com for 3 easy steps with our friends at Republic Services. Into the Archives, I'm going to give you something, Austin, that might make you chuckle here a little bit, but it's going to lead into something else. It was 4 years ago today that we learned Tim Tebow would be joining Urban Meyer as a tight end for the Jacksonville Jaguars. And it's just it's a very footnotey thing in the Tebow career, right? I think it is. But it's not a footnotey thing, it feels like, in the Urban short era. It kind of seems like it spoke volumes, said a lot. And I also think at the end of the day, we knew kind of how it would turn out. Fair enough. I don't think there was a lot of momentum and belief that Tebow could pull that off, if I remember, from 4 years ago.
No, I mean, and it was nothing that, once again, like when you talk about Tim Tebow, one of the most polarizing players, really, I feel like in the history of football. And, when he came to Jacksonville, I forgot what the jersey sales were like, but people were expecting him to be the next Tony Gonzalez and everything. And dude was a 4-string, tight end. And I remember even we talked about it on the show where I said, look I'll post a Tim Tebow video breaking down his stuff and watch how many views I get. And I did it, and it got a lot of views just because he was the talking point, I felt of the NFL offseason. And he was a 4-string tight end. And he was the talking point. So it's wild how that just transpired. And it kind of reminds me, Brendan, it goes back to, with Urban Meyer, what was the plan? Was it to get people talking? Was it to get people excited? Because James Gladstone's admitted to this now. It's sports entertainment, right? And listen, if I'm being 110% transparent here, that's the only thing I think James Gladstone has said that I don't 100% agree with when he talks about sports entertainment. Now, I get, yes, you got Travis Hunter, that brings cameras, that can bring a prime time game, those are all great things for the city of Jacksonville. Those are great things for the organization. But I don't look at it as sports entertainment and you can't do this a lot, I feel with football and fighting, but I'm going to compare it like this. If you want to talk about the greatest sports entertainers of all time in MMA, well, Conor McGregor is the top of the list. But was Conor McGregor ever really the greatest fighter? Was he ever the greatest champion? He's got a lot of accolades. He's got a resume. but he's not on the Mount Rushmore of greatest champions of all time. Those were reserved for guys like the John Joneses, the George St. Pierres, the Anderson Silvas. Now, were they the most talkative? Were they the best showmen? No, they're the greatest fighters. And that's how you have to look at it, I feel like, in football. Like, don't be concerned about the metrics of, media covering you and people. Like, if you win football games, the rest will take care of itself. And that needs to be the focus. So I get the whole sports quote-unquote entertainment narrative. How about just the wins narrative? If you win, you'll get primetime games. If you win, more people will cover you. If you win, ticket sales go up. That's all you got to be concerned about. I honestly, as bad as it sounds, I don't care about the sports entertainment side.
Yeah, that's a really good observation. I appreciate that, transparency on your side, that you're not really comfortable with Gladstone saying the entertainment business and pointing it out. It's kind of like a unspoken thing anyway. Like, we know it is, but like, if you do it feels like if you prioritize it, right? And they're not prioritizing the sports entertainment part over winning football games. I don't feel like that at all.
No, not at all. Yeah.
But there really is an element of that. Like, there really is, from a Shad Khan standpoint to maybe a Mark Lamping standpoint to the business side standpoint, and to at least acknowledge that it is, with a kind of a wry smile, because that's what Gladstone did when I remember we were doing the one-on-one, he might have said it in multiple spots, but he said, hey, after all, it's the entertainment business, and he kind of like smiled saying it, right?
Yeah.
But so I don't think they're making decisions based on that. But I also think you bring up a pretty good point that where is that line of, hey, no, this is the football business. Right, like for you, this is your livelihood. This is your body's on the line, the everything else. And listen, they've shown great respect for that too. But this is the football business. This isn't the entertainment business. But it's a delicate balance between what you talk about a lot, and you and Casey have Scrap House at 7:00 every Wednesday on the Action Sports Jacks 24/7 network. I mean, how far at the end of the day is it from the wrestling world? Because it's become so big. The shield, if you will, or the brand of the sport has become so big that you are entertaining more and more people of different demographics, more and more people that are coming to the sport for various reasons, like gambling, fantasy football, Taylor Swift, whatever it is. That is it more entertainment than it's ever been? I think the answer to that is yes. What you got to be careful of is it can't be less football than it's ever been. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, I hear you, Brent. And, like, obviously the Kansas City Chiefs probably have ushered in a new era now with the Taylor Swift and the Swifties and everything, and a new generation of fans. But, like, look at one of the greatest dynasties of all time in the New England Patriots. Set aside from Gronk, they weren't really entertaining. Bill Belichick's far more entertaining and far more famous now for having a 24-year-old girlfriend than he ever was for winning how many Super Bowls in New England, which is crazy to think about. I didn't see Bill Belichick on Good Morning America and stuff when he's winning Super Bowls, but I saw him with his girlfriend when he was 24 years old. So when you look at this, the Patriots organization, like, yeah, you had Gronk, who, was kind of like the outlier. He was the Joker, if you will. But, like, Tom Brady, for all his success, he wasn't really exciting off the field. Dude was boring. Edelman, Amendola, Brewski, like, listen, great professionals. Not the most entertaining guys when they played. So I think it goes to show you, like, if the focus is on the entertainment part, then okay, that's fine. But you can still go about your business, still win football games, still be a dynasty, and that have to be entertaining to the masses.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. I think I don't want to put words in his mouth. I'm just trying to see if there's like a perspective on this that, let's just say you're shot, okay? And I'm not saying I've heard this or anything else, but let's just say you're shot. And I liken it to why he was mad about the urban stuff on top of a lot of things, but why he was mad. And one of the things that he was mad about with the urban drama is exactly the drama. He said at one time to us that, listen, we've lost before, but we've never lost with, like, this drama. Like, that bothered him. Like, losing bothered him, but the fact that on top of the losing there were these other things going on that became headline moments on ESPN, NFL Network, other things to accentuate the fact that you were also 2-11, right? That was not cool, and that did not sit well with Shad Khan. Absolutely did not. So now there might have been a myriad of reasons why I ended up making the move, but that was part of it for sure. That whole drama, not just the whole last one, or whatever it was, the Lambeau thing, but the other. If you now sit in his seat and you're like, okay, we've tried a lot of different things. Like, we've tried a lot of different things to be successful here. We've put money behind it. We've spent on free agencies. We've tried from Urban to Doug Peterson to Doug Marrone to Tom Coughlin to this to that, you know. I mean, there probably comes a time where you're just like, all right, listen, I can't make us win. Like, I'm going to try to keep making us win. But if we're not going to win and this isn't going to work, I mean, let's be at least fun and not stale and not – that's where the modern stuff comes into play a little bit, right, where the new offense. Like, let's not be this predictable offense. Let's at least be fun. And if we lose 35-32, we lose 35-32. Like, it could mean that as much as it could mean let's have this great brand of Travis Hunter and everything else. So, and I'm not telling you he's thinking that way. I'm just trying to sit in his seat, and if he was, you know, having a drink on the Kismet 3 or whatever it is – you know, and no microphones or cameras are around, I could see somebody thinking that way. Like, hey, all right, well, let's put on a show at the very least.
Yeah, I mean, I get it, man. Like, listen, Brent, I'm really hoping that we can get a consistent winner in Jacksonville, and then that's going to show Shad Khan, like, hey, like, when you win, it solves a lot of things. Like, If you have a consistent front runner, a consistent team that you're talking about playoff runs, like it's going to work miracles. It's going to work miracles in terms of ticket sales. It's going to work miracles in terms of media. It's going to work, you know, miracles in just in terms of revenue alone. And like, we haven't got that sample size, Brent, because you haven't had a consistent winner.
Yeah, and I think he knows that, too. I think that's the bigger part of it. He's trying to get that part right. There's no doubt. I mean, he's really tried to get it right. He can argue, okay, well, what does he think with the whole bulky thing? I think that's a fair criticism. But overall, I just listed a bunch of things that he's actually tried to get right. And speaking of Bill Belichick and the entertainment factor, UNC is all in on the entertainment because have you heard that they are engaged?
Are you? Oh, man. Is this it's an official source and everything?
I don't know if there are such things as official sources.
Well, sorry, but is it like a verified source?
I've seen it all over the place. Yeah, that Belichick is now engaged to Jordan whatever.
Yeah, Jordan whatever. That's
I don't even know her name.
Brent.
Well, I just don't know her name. I just know it's Jordan. So the you know, the crazy thing. Here's my first thought on this, and I think we give this Belichick conversation probably too much. Reportedly engaged to be married is the latest one that I just saw. Multiple different places are saying it. And I think I'm like, wow, they went all in. Like Belichick, he goes from the CBS thing, the book thing, you would think then the Belichick, just say, okay, he's going to end this deal. Yeah. He's like, okay, this is over. This charade. I want to just go coach football. I'm tired of this. Like, I don't want people talking about me like this. That's where I thought this was going to end up. Like, okay, this is a little goofy to begin with. I'm 50 years older than her. All this stuff. No, man. He 180s that thought. And he's like, nope. Let's go get engaged.
Let's double up.
I was like,
let's
I
go.
Would not have predicted. You gave me the Vegas odds on that, and I would have definitely said, okay, the split is coming, right? Yeah, split, stay, or get engaged. Get engaged would have been plus 1,500, and I ain't dropping my money on that one.
Yeah. There'd have been no way, Brent. Wow, that's wild. You know, like, listen, and once again, like, it's funny because we share the same philosophies here. Like, it's TMZ, it's clickbaity stuff, but it's such a crazy story. And usually I could care less about people's personal lives and relationships. But Brent, this one is it's so far out there because it's Bill Belichick. Like, it's the dude that, for whatever, the 15 years or 20 years that he's in the NFL, like, we knew nothing about this guy. Like, he wouldn't let anybody into anything. And all we knew him from was, guy's a champion. Guy knows how to set a culture and coach football. That's all we knew him. And then all of a sudden, you know, he's out of the league and everything, and he gets this new girlfriend. And it's like you said, it's a complete 180 now. Like, it's just a new version of Bill Belichick, and we're all in awe because we never thought that we'd be here.
It's unbelievable. I mean, I don't know of another person in I'm sure there are plenty of them, like in like in the public eye, right, in sports, that you would, like, it wouldn't apply to somebody like a Nick Saban. He's married, been married forever, so that's different. Like, so I don't even know how you find this, I guess. Mm-hmm. But you are right about, like, the fascination point on this. Like, we don't care about this stuff. I could care less about all that TMZ crap. But the fascination of who he is and this dynamic is like a midlife crisis at 74. Like, do you have like a next life crisis or like a late life crisis? Like, is there such a thing? Like, because that's what this feels like.
Right. I mean, do you know what it's called? It's called getting fired from the NFL. You know, it's called having some more time on your hands. Like, that's what that is. It ain't a midlife crisis. It ain't an afterlife crisis. It's a I have too much time on my hands type of crisis.
Yeah, not on the bingo card.
Why do you think I fight, Brent, and like I stay busy? I ain't trying to go down that Bill Belichick road. I ain't trying to, like, listen. I'm trying to just stay busy with tasks and goals and just keep doing my thing, man. I don't have time to be out in these streets doing stuff, you know?
All right. Hey, I got two more things to get to before we hang it up for the day here live from Cabot Citrus Farms in Brooksville. We talked to earlier Steve Blake, the director of agronomy. Great to catch up with him, a Wisconsin guy. Cool story, by the way, as he used to own a golf course, too, and now he's in charge of this beautiful concept out here with Cabot Citrus Farms. David Bennett, yesterday UNF alum and Hall of Famer from the golf team, now the GM here. So great to visit with these guys and be here the last couple of days. Really a cool spot if you like golf, stay and play golf within 3 hours of Jacksonville. So come on out, try it out. You can stay or you can just play as well. They do have daily rates. Look them up different times of the year. The rates obviously vary. No surprise there when it comes to Florida golf. So these are the two things that I want to get into quick. I brought up the Tebow into the archives presented by Republic Services. Remember, recyclingsimplified.com for a reason. Is there anyone else at this point? Because, again, this was like at this point last year or 4 years ago when they brought in a guy like Tebow. Is there anybody right now out there that you would, if you were Gladstone or somebody else, try to bring in? Agba is their latest signing. He did that right after the draft. But we're talking about the Aaron Rodgers of the world. You're not going to bring a guy like that in. Yeah. There are a few guys that are still available, like I think like Justin Simmons of the world. Do the Jags need something else that you could potentially make a move for? And this is a different conversation than, say, Trey Hendrickson. Trey Hendrickson you would have to trade for, and that just doesn't seem like it's going to happen. There are some big-name guys like him and Ramsey that you could absolutely trade for and get like a really good player. These other guys, for whatever reason, they're unsigned, you know? So there are some decent names, but maybe the games aren't as strong anymore. Any position or anybody that you could think of that the Jags should be like, hey, we can still beef this area up?
Yeah, that's a good call, Brent. Man, you know, like, I mean,
let me give you a couple of candidates.
Well, yeah, the interior defensive tackle, you know, could still be a little bit of a question mark, but like you said, Simmons, I mean, he's got the off the field stuff though, right? Recently or not? Or is that in the clear? I can't remember.
That's a good question. Let me just see. I've got him right in front of us. He's, you know, I think I saw today he's 31 now. I didn't realize he was that old.
Yeah.
So that becomes a little interesting. I don't know about that part that you're talking about, but Zadarius Smith is a guy that's still out there.
Okay. I think he's coming off a pretty big knee injury, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah, Kazir White's on this. Well, he did, but he joined Detroit last year, remember?
But then didn't he get hurt in Detroit?
Did he get hurt right after that?
I thought he got hurt when he was in Detroit, but maybe not.
He had 4 sacks and 20 pressures in his 8 games. It doesn't say that he's coming back from injury. I think he had previously come back from injury. Asante Samuel Jr. is a guy that's still available. He is coming off a shoulder injury in 2024 where he only played 4 games. Boy, I thought he was going to be really good. It turns out he's just okay. Mike Hilton at cornerback doesn't do much for me. Rasul Douglas at corner. J.K. Dobbins is a running back. Amari Cooper, Julian Blackman, at safety. And I think the one that would probably get people's attention, but I just don't see a need for him, is a Keenan Allen, who is apparently still out there.
Yeah, it's just, you know, it's the age thing, and obviously the can he, play a full season? Brent, would you rather had Keenan Allen or Cooper Kupp? I mean, Kupp could be a lot more expensive, I would assume, but.
Yeah, that's a good call. I think I would have rather had Cooper Kupp.
Okay, yeah.
At that time. I mean, that's a good. I think they're both bringing you something, but I think the craftiness of Kupp seems to fit as you get a little older more than maybe the Keenan Allen game. I could be wrong on that. Here's one of the reasons I bring this up. Obviously, not just because of that Tebow thing, but I just don't know if there's an answer of yes here. I don't think they need. I don't think I would bring in any of these guys for the Jags. And I'm not telling you they're all set at every position, couldn't get better. I'm just not sure any of these guys kind of make you better. Remember, it wasn't the strongest of free agent classes to begin with.
No, without a doubt.
So, anyway, I don't think they're going to do anything. I think the next time you'll see any kind of moves, and let's knock on wood, hopefully there are no injuries. But if there are injuries, and then you would see that later August and September.
Brent, I got a quick car update, too, for you.
Oh, yeah?
Yep. So they called me up and said, hey, it's going to be 22. I go, oh, 2,200. And they go, nope, $22,000. The engine completely blew up. So thank God I got my Cycles of Jacks endorsement just down the pipe. Huge selection, over 60,000 square feet, Brent. Maybe I'll be getting a Vespa or a Segway or a motorcycle coming up here because RIP to the Cadillac Sport Wagon. It is no more.
Wow. Holy cow. That's it. It's done for. Like, there's no use for it, right? I mean, you can't do it. What do you even do? Can you trade it in?
Yeah, I mean, I'll probably trade it in. Like, yeah, is that much? What do you want me to do? Airbnb it? Like, well, yeah, I can't do anything else with it. Like, what do you think I'm going to do with it?
Wow, that quote, you must have been stunned. I wish I was there to get your face when they called you.
I'm like, oh, 2,200. Okay, so it was like the gasket or something. She goes, oh, no, I'm sorry, 22,000. I go, well, that's worth more than the car, huh? She goes, yeah. I go, okay, then that's probably the end of it. Got it. Cool.
Wow. How about that? I got to get a little more on that story tomorrow, but let's say goodbye for now. Have a good rest of your Tuesday. We'll be back in Jackson, the studio tomorrow on the Brent Austen Show, the Action Sports Jacks 24/7 Network. Kim, great job today. Thanks for jumping in for Casey and Hamby. Also, shout out to Liv as well for stopping by. Watch on CBS 47 and Fox 30 tonight. And once again, a good special thanks to the folks here at Cabot Citrus Farms. Good to have them with us, and also their partnership along the way with our Action Sports Jacks Dream 18 and their support over the last couple of years. Again, save the date, the Dream 18 this year at the Golf Club at Southampton on September the 22nd. Have a good Tuesday, everybody.
Are you about to graduate high school and haven't decided on what you want to do when you get done? Well, one option is to apply to become a student in the Electrical Training Alliance of Jacksonville. Their program offers structured classroom and online training, along with on-the-job training so that you can earn while you learn. Still not convinced? The folks at ETA Jacks are a tuition-free 4-year apprenticeship program. There is no tuition and no student debt. Just pay for your books and your fees. That's it. Now, speaking of pay, students, they start off making $40,000 per year, including benefits. And they graduate, get this, making over $80,000 per year, including those sought-after benefits. Now, that sounds pretty good to me. And if that sounds good to you, it should check off a lot of boxes. So head on over to etajacks.org and apply by May 15th. Again, the website right here, etajacks.org. Don't wait, apply today.
People helping people. It's at the core of what Alive Credit Union is all about, and it's been that way for over 70 years. From the start in 1954 to today, the mission remains to inspire financial wellness and give you a financially fit lifestyle. Alive Credit Union and its employees are committed to not only serving their valued members, but also our community here in Northeast Florida. I had a chance to see that commitment firsthand as Alive partnered with our Action Sports Jacks 24/7 team to bring you Armada men's and women's soccer broadcasts. Inside the 18, it is a shot, and it's a goal! Chloe Chivers! And that connection to the community continues with Alive Credit Union's support of the Police Athletic League of Jacksonville. Alive Credit Union's commitment to our community also involves serving the financial needs of all first responders through the recent merger partnership with City and Police Federal Credit Union. Join the community and become a member of Alive Credit Union today. Find out the many ways you can be inspired in financial wellness at alivecu.coop.
You trust CGC to make your water great, and now you can trust CGC with your plumbing needs as well. Fast, convenient scheduling, licensed and insured. A quick call away at 904-552-1242.
You never know when you're going to have an issue with a shower, toilet, or maybe it's a sink that sometimes is easy to fix. All right, let's be honest. I'm not fixing anything. I'm totally staging this because when I have a plumbing problem, I call CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing.
Trained professionals, transparent pricing, customer satisfaction. Small problem or even a bigger issue. Save 10% off any water heater plus no trip charge. The experts with 25 years of experience at CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing can do it all. Call 904-552-1242 or visit cgcwater.com. For a limited time, CGC is waiving the trip charge on all related plumbing calls. CGC Water Treatment and Plumbing, an authorized independent Connecticut dealer. Florida license number CFC 1432579.
For the game day hustle and every day in between. Juggling my show, Jag Social, to going under the Friday night lights and a social life, it's a daily tournament. But this ride, MVP status. The all-new 2024 Lincoln Nautilus isn't just my car, it's my personal locker room, office on the go, and VIP lounge on wheels. Let's talk tech. My profile remembers everything from customizing my dash display to setting the ambient lighting and my signature scent. And wireless charging, essential for live tweeting scores. Whether I'm packing for a beach day with friends or heading to the gym, there's space for every passion. After dominating all day, this becomes my recovery zone. The massage feature is like having a personal PT on call.
Life's a non-stop game, but with this ride, I'm always on my A game. The 2024 Lincoln Nautilus. Drive your passion.
Grab some friends and go to a restaurant or head out for a drink and some conversation. Watch your favorite team play on the big screen. Or how about play some games? You can do all of that in one night at Best Bet.
Each location has a different vibe, its own personality, like here at the original Best Bet in Orange Park. When you walk through these doors, everybody knows your name. And here in St. Augustine, it's the newest location. Play some poker. How about the table games? And don't forget about Ace's Sports Bar and Grill. And then there's the Jacksonville location, right here on Monument Road. It's the biggest poker room in the state of Florida. Maybe you'll find yourself a seat right here at the final table.
Best Bet, where you can have the best of times. And that makes you always go home a winner. Try any of the 3 locations